Well, good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Ghostfire Media Podcast. I'm Randy Pepper alongside Josh Lassen and Nick Adams on another Friday night fun talking iRacing and much, much more tonight. So, gentlemen, let's just get in and see how everybody has done this week. Josh, how was your week?
You know what? I'm not going to complain other than I was terrible at Dover, but that's to be expected because I loathe that track. But other than that, we've been great.
All right, so the rest of the week in the household has all been good, much better than last week. That's good to hear.
Yeah, there's beer today.
Oh, there's beer tonight, so we know you're in a much better mood and feeling much better. Those tests must have went good this week.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. All right, Nicholas, how was your week outside of racing and during racing?
It was pretty good. I had a pretty decent week. On track and off track this week. Monday started out really well with the third place finish that kind of came out of nowhere, but I'll take it. And then last night was pretty decent. Felt good about the car all night, and good week all around. But I'm to add on to the crazy day that has been the MLB trade deadline, the trades today. I have breaking news for everybody.
Uh-oh.
John Cena has been traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Jimmy Kimmel has signed a 1-year contract with the New York Yankees.
Is that outside the CM Punk trade?
No, that's right. Sorry. CM Punk went from the Cubs to the White Sox today.
And Brian Danielson also went to, I believe, the Cleveland Guardians, too.
Yes. Oh, that's right. And Cleveland traded their entire team to New York to get
to get the Miz.
They didn't want much. They traded the name and everything.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
I am the first to admit, and I think I said it last week, I like the new name. It may not make sense. It may not actually make sense to people that aren't local.
They're the Cleveland Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They are now officially a Marvel movie. I expect to see Iron Man come in at the home opener next season. I expect to see a lot of awesome things now that they're a Marvel team.
If it was anything, it would have been DC because Superman was created in Cleveland.
Let's just be honest here, okay? It wouldn't surprise me if they were going to be purchased by Marvel in the future, because you look back to the 90s in Anaheim when they were the Anaheim Mighty Ducks and they were owned by Disney. So it wouldn't be the first time that
that was
entertainment
a movie. That was a movie plug-in, shameless movie plug-in.
Well, but hold on.
Yeah,
let's remember that the shameless movie plug has more championships than Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, but
in this century.
Hey, the Cleveland Indians, when they were, at least they had the wild.
Oh, and Randy, you just got to shut down. Can't say that name anymore.
Okay, the Cleveland Guardians. Well, it's just saying prior.
Well, you can't. Listen. If you talk about Joe Gibbs winning championships, he never won championships with a team that started with R. It was only the Washington football team in the 80s.
You know what? I will say the Indians all I want. You know why?
Oh boy.
I'm half Native American.
Oh boy! Now you have to prove it.
I have to prove my Native American.
Yes.
You see the cheeks?
I was going to say
that?
That really does say everything.
I was going to say, come on. Yeah, I'm half American. See the black hair on the one side of my head? This is the real side, all right? Do you want me to go?
All right, moving on.
Moving on. Let me tell you about my week. My week has been I initiated the mask mandates back in the store today because Florida has gone crazy with the COVID thing. So I
need to get my Trump hat.
No, doesn't matter. So we put the mask thing back on the door today. It took a whopping 3 hours before the first person came up to the door, pulled on the door, and I said, "You got to have a mask." And the guy shot me a bird.
We didn't need your business anyway, bud.
That sounds like Daytona.
It sounds like the whole state of Florida.
Honestly, I bet you 5 minutes before that he was, doing some meth.
Oh yeah, in Daytona, yeah, probably so. But yeah, so that's the way my week was actually all right until that point, and I was just like, oh, here we go again.
It's gonna be, it's the way it's moving with all these different variants. We're gonna be right back sitting in our houses, all cooped up.
You will be, but we won't be in Florida, that's for sure.
That's true. Unless your Lord and Savior gets it again.
Yeah. No, not him. So anyways, let's get on to the show. We've got tonight we have JJ Abel. Is that right? Or I forgot the guy's name. I know it's JJ something.
Odell.
I don't. Odell.
J.J. Abrams is a J.J. Abrams was a football player.
That is correct, and that's where I think I got a little bit
Jesus
confused there.
Christ.
So sorry.
Oh my God.
So let's go ahead and bring Mr. Odell into the show, and we'll talk a little fuel with him, because I know you guys
Apparently,
know a lot about
we're actually having some issues with the stream.
Are we?
Yeah, apparently we're choppy, which means that my internet is crap right now.
Well,
it's good that I do have the ability to manage this very quickly, so let's see what's happening.
if we need to, I can take over.
Uh-oh. And you know what?
We may want to do
Just
that.
don't ask me. Yeah, don't ask me to take over, because I have no takeover.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get set up here, Josh.
Oh boy. So testicle difficulties for the first time tonight. And we'll get them sorted out so you guys don't see a choppy broadcast. Hopefully the audio sounds all right. I don't know about that, but we'll find out. And then we'll bring in, once you get everything situated, we'll get Mr. Odell in here, and we'll talk a little fuel racing. As the Fuel League had a fantastic race the other night. It was
hold on.
it was a really good race.
I think I found the issue.
Did you? Let me know.
Who's logged on the internet in your house?
No.
Your what?
The issue was my computer was trying to upload something, and it didn't.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good on Facebook right now.
Okay, good. So
I'll let you know if it's all fucked up, but it looks pretty good.
And what is this devilry?
what?
Oh
What is-
God, Josh, my ear holes.
What is this? Where did he come from?
Carl messaged.
That's the way my week was actually all right until that point, and I was just like, we have been blessed by
We're about to be
our Lord and Savior.
And then he disappears.
Never mind.
Oh,
I think that was an accident.
I think it was a sign.
He's having audio issues, so he'll be back.
No, Nick, let's go ahead and jump over to yours, because I keep seeing spikes and whatnot.
Son of a bitch! It closed everything on. I don't like the way this looks.
We don't like when things happen wrong.
Oh, I'm an idiot. That might be why.
What? Somebody called you an idiot?
No, I'm an idiot.
No.
I'm just an idiot. Hey, Randy. Oh, I just deleted my iRacing screen.
Why did you need your iRacing screen? Are you racing tonight?
Give us 1 second, folks. It'll be fixed.
Here comes Carl again. Ta-da!
He's trying.
Carl's back. He's trying. The master techie. He's trying. I can see. Yay! It's Carl.
What's up, guys?
All right.
How are you, my man?
I am currently
Good.
seeing
Glad
that
to
we
be here.
may be good, but Nick, just go
Your
ahead.
mic is. It sounds like it's coming through the
All
camera.
my stuff is signed out right now, Josh. So if you're good, then we'll just stay on you for now. If we get messed up, let me know, and we'll change over.
Okay. I just may need to tell my wife to start watching the Olympics elsewhere.
Josh might die here. So
Watch the Olympics.
If Josh gets murdered in mid podcast, I can take over for him.
Hey, how do I sound now?
Better.
We actually hear you now.
Well,
Yeah.
Perfect.
you're quite quiet, but that's just because I have you turned down because you're way louder in race.
How about this?
Now that's
That's
just
better.
creepy. All right.
Carl, hold on, Carl.
That would be like me doing this, just getting
Well,
really
don't
close
like
down.
that.
We'll just get ASMR up in here. How's that sound?
Oh, that's just weird. Let's go ahead and bring up.
Welcome to the show.
We've wasted enough time with my computer issues that I'm still trying to work through. So let's go ahead and bring up JJ. Get to know him.
Right, that sounds good. And it's JJ, you there? JJ?
Hello? Why is he serving?
Yeah, there he is. JJ, welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Good, man. So, first of all, what we usually do with everybody that comes on the show, we'd like you to tell us about yourself, what you do for a living, whether you're married, all that good stuff, how long you've been racing, and then just tell us, about your racing background and all that good stuff.
All right. Well, started racing when I was about, it'd be 4 or 5 years old. We used to race go-karts. It started, we were mostly on dirt. It was a blast, man. We didn't, we did a lot of traveling too. We'd go to, we've been down to Mississippi before, for the, and we done like the Burst Thunder tour out west. But yeah, we kind of quit once school picked up and, we got older, but I'd really like to be back in it.
Well, what do you do for a living, and married or anything like that?
No, not married. I actually don't do anything for work, as sad as it is to say. I just moved back to Ohio, so kind of in between jobs at the moment.
Where
God
in
help you
Ohio?
being in Ohio.
Chillicothe.
Okay. I'm an Akron native, so.
Oh,
And how old are you? How old are you there, JJ?
23.
Okay,
Oh,
youngin.
still a baby.
I was gonna make a suggestion on the married thing, but if I do, I won't be married anymore. So I'm gonna shut up. About it.
My
you
wife
almost
doesn't
did that
listen.
last week as well.
She might not listen to the podcast, but she can damn sure hear me.
So, you had a great race the other night in the Fuel Daytona race. Want to tell us all about it? What your experience of the race was?
Oh man, like Nick said, it kind of came out of nowhere. I was just as surprised to win as anybody else. I was honestly surprised to be up running around, and I think I stayed around like 6th, 7th place. I was surprised on that to begin with, but yeah, I just right place, right time.
So not only were you the winner, you also were the hard charger of the week, making up 38 spots.
Yeah, I was a little surprised on that too.
So was it just... Would you chalk it up to luck? Because there were a few big ones, especially one caused by me.
Yeah, luck was 99% of it.
I mean, the big thing for me was I didn't see you the entire night, and I was running towards the front until let's not talk about my incident on Monday night.
No, Josh, let's talk about your incident.
Oh, yeah, let's
you
talk
brought
about
out
that.
You brought out you brought out a caution. You wrecked a couple cars. You almost wrecked a couple teammates. So what happened?
That was just me being stupid. I'm the first to admit that I got loose for absolutely no reason. No one touched me. I had an oh shit moment, and for the second Daytona race in a row, and lost traction. I'm gonna say
Was that in the tri-oval?
No. This
No?
was it was one of the turns. I can't remember.
Okay, because I was gonna say like halfway through the race, I had one of those moments when I was pushing the guy on the outside that was leading the outside to the lead. I was coming through the tri-oval and it just got loose for no reason too. So it was just the aero package in those cars is shockingly different than anything else I've driven at Daytona. So.
Well, I've also only driven those cars 3 times. The All-Star race, one official, and that was North Wilkesboro, so you aren't going to learn the draft package there and the race.
It was fun. Definitely fun.
So, JJ, were you white-knuckled the whole night coming from the back? Were you kind of mentally prepared for the amount of chaos you were going to have to get through?
Honestly, I wanted to just kind of ride in the back, and the first caution came out, and I think I jumped up to like 19th or 20th, and kind of just said, well, I'll just ride here, and if I fall back, I fall back. If I go forward, I go forward, and I just kind of, I don't know, I was just kind of laid back driving and hoping I could miss stuff.
I mean, you definitely did, because I have to commend you for managing to miss everything, because it was damn near impossible.
Well, and on that topic, I mean, I feel like every time I've run into super speedway, even the ones that like I won, like done well in, like I feel like it's always like a story of avoiding like there was always like that one accident that was right in front of you that you somehow squeezed through. Did anything like that happen for you?
There was, I want to say there was one that I kind of squeezed by. Like I think I got a little damage early on, like 10 seconds of optionals that I was able to fix up. But yeah, I think I was just more away from the wrecks than I was able to kind of squeeze by.
Do you remember about how deep in the race that was that you did that? Because I'm hoping that it wasn't mine.
I think it was a little earlier on.
Because if it was about lap 35, then I'm sorry.
Nick, what was your experience with it?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What was
With
your
the race.
experience with the race?
with Daytona?
Maybe around JJ and stuff like that.
It was just fun. It was really fun. I mean, I started hell in 30th because I'm an idiot and I hit the wall in turn 4 on my warm-up lap and decided to not reset and get a clean car. So I half second lower than I should have been no matter what. So it was just stupidity on my end to start that far back. But it kind of made me, I think, a better driver throughout the night because I had education.
So I just want to be clear here. You said you hit the wall
Yeah, I'm an
in
idiot.
turn 4. That's not something very typical for you, is it?
Yeah, hey, Carl, shut up.
That's
That was
just
just-
horribly out of character for you.
Yeah, kiss my ass, okay?
How many laps did
Hey.
you get done in qualifying last night?
Last night I got 3/4. I actually had qualifying speed too for the first time all season last night. I don't want to talk about last night yet. We'll talk about that when we get there. But
We'll
no,
talk about it later.
Monday night was just fun from the start, from the drop of the green flag. I mean, I moved up probably like 5 positions early on, and then I found Thomas Bressi and Michael Stroll, and I was like, I'm just going to sit back here with these guys and just kind of survive. I chose my moment to move up was like halfway through the race, and I started sticking in the top 20, and I don't know, coming to the final lap, I was in 10th. I didn't really think third was in the playbook, but I was just hoping for a top 5. I thought something was going to happen, but I also thought that I could make another move down the middle, like I had to get in the top 10. So it's just all about patience.
So JJ, you started pretty far back, and you made your way up. Was there any part of that race that you had a little oh shit moment?
Not really. Like, to be honest, I was just more. Actually, no, there was the one about 10 to go. I was riding up front. And I was like, oh man, this I might have a chance here, and more than I mean, I won't have the chance to win at any other track probably, but yeah, about 9-10 to go. I was like, man, there's a chance.
Carl?
Yeah, so I just want to ask. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot here. Certainly not asking you to call anyone out. I know there was a lot of discussion amongst members in the Fuel League about, how that race went. The fact that there was, some people that lost it, some people that wrecked other people. Like, I mean, you were riding mid-pack for a large portion of the race. I mean, how did you feel the racing was back there? Did you feel like for the most part guys were clean, or was it just like a complete disaster?
I don't know. I mean, I felt it was pretty clean, and it just little mistakes happened. It seemed like a lot of it happened up front, from what I remember. A lot of the incidents starting, just somebody messing up front. But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was too bad, especially considering that I think my I rating's like a 1700 or something. I'm used. I racing super speedway all week. I'm used to this.
Don't feel bad. You're actually higher than both me and Carl.
A lot higher than me. Trust me.
Yeah, Mr. 749.
Yeah, 779. Careful, the car in front of you has a very low I rating.
So as we were coming to the last lap, somebody we're actually going to have on the podcast a little bit later for other reasons, we had Blake Gordon leading the race have a little bit of a touch with someone. Did you honestly think that you would, A, make it through that, and B, were you prepared to take the checkered flag?
I remember coming out of 2 and kind of just tucking behind Eric and kind of seeing the 93, what looked like the 93 just shoot towards the wall. So I kind of just honestly closed my eyes and just hoped iRacing would glitch me through it or something. And I think I kind of just netcoded through most of it.
It's a rare moment that netcode actually helps someone.
That's the only way I survived it too. I literally went through Blake, went through his entire car.
Yeah, I think I ended up actually screwing Eric over because I just kind of full throttled through the wreck.
I mean, sometimes on the last lap, no one's going to hold that one against you. And especially at Daytona, sometimes if you check up, somebody's close enough behind you that you're going to get the tip and you're going to get sent around. So just power through and hope for the best.
Sometimes getting the tip isn't the most awful thing at Daytona, though.
Especially in
Sometimes
those cars.
Sometimes it's not that bad. Other times too.
Randy.
Not with me,
Randy.
but I'm just saying.
Wow. The more you know.
The more you know, the more you know. All right, so JJ, so you said that this is maybe the only time you actually get a win or a shot at a win. So how do you think the rest of your season is going to go?
I'm just gonna honestly try to just ride in the back and hope again for something. Up next we have Homestead. I've been practicing a little bit, but I barely know anything. And then it's Sebring, I think, and that's gonna be I'll be a moving chicane there. I'm not a road racer at all. I'll just be trying to stay on the track.
I was going to ask you that. Are you a road racer? But I guess you answered that question for me.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we know, Josh, you'll love the road racing thing. Carl, you're not bad at it.
I've grown to love it, yeah. And then I know Nick's not bad at road racing at all.
He just likes mowing the lawn.
I'm excited for Sebring. That's going to be a hell of a challenge in these cars.
Yeah, I don't even think I have the track owned.
I don't think I do either.
I don't think a lot of people who are going to be running it have it. Not a lot of things run Sebring anymore, so it's going to be...
Yeah, but NASCAR's back there, so...
I think it's going to be like a top 5 race of the year.
It's going to be an interesting race. I mean, that's a very flat track. I mean, there's not a lot of elevation. It's just a old airstrip that turned into a racetrack. So it's going to be interesting for you guys to run that. I'm just glad I'm not running it with you.
No, Randy, you almost beat me one week, and
I almost did that.
one up.
Yeah. I know that. That was with VR, and without VR, I don't think I can do anything. So.
Randy, you don't give yourself enough credit, man. You are way better than you are.
I suck.
That's just not true.
You beat Nick 2 weeks ago.
He beat me 2 weeks in a row, and it wasn't because I made stupid mistakes. It was because you were just playing faster.
Well, I had
You could have won a couple weeks ago in TNT. That's how fast you were. So don't beat yourself up. You're definitely a lot better than you think you are.
Oh well, no, I appreciate you guys, but no, I still think I suck.
At the very least, you're better than Nick. So.
Hey, Carl.
And there goes the PG rating.
Yeah, no, I already said the.
If I'm on the
one.
podcast, there's
So.
definitely not a PG rating.
Yeah, absolutely. JJ, as you can tell, we like to banter against each other all the time, and that's just part of our whole thing here. Our whole stick is to, usually just team up on top of Nick. And
can you not team up on top of me, please? I don't want anybody on top of me, especially none of you guys. Listen, there is a lot of people in this world I'd be with that are on top of me, but you three, not so much.
Hey, Nick, you ever seen that movie Deliverance?
No, but if it involves you on top of me, Randy, I don't want to be a part of it.
Carl, have you ever seen it?
I have not.
Josh? Nobody?
I have.
There's so many things that
I'm just trying to push it out of my mind.
There's so many things I want in this world, Randy, but that's not one of them.
Anyway.
Go back and watch that movie there for you. Nick, just go back and watch the movie, and then you come back and say what you thought.
I'll watch it this week, and I will comment on it next week. But
it's a great Burt Reynolds movie.
my soul hurts right now.
So JJ, for the rest of the season, you think you're gonna try to just run in the back and try to make things happen if they come your way. Is there anybody in the league that you look at and you say, I want to drive like that guy? Is there anybody like that in your eyes?
I'm not sure. Honestly, probably like Will. He's honestly more of the clean drivers that we have. Granted, I think he does kind of get in a few wrecks, but he does tend to give you room a lot more. And I don't know. I try to do that as well, but sometimes I don't do it for the best.
All right. So what we usually do here on the podcast is we try to pick a winner for this upcoming race at Homestead. We'll go around the horn. We'll actually we'll go around. We'll start with Carl. And we'll go around, and I guess we'll go Carl, Josh, Nick, and then we'll go you, JJ, and then I'll do the last one. All right. So Carl.
Right. Yeah. So I usually pair with statistics and stuff, and I didn't pair with anything. So I'm just going to go with my heart, and I am going to say Blake Gordon. No, I'm just kidding. I am actually going to pick Michael Stroll. I've raced around him a lot in fuel. I think Bressy's a strong pick as well, but Michael Stroll is who I'm going with.
Josh.
Of course. Oh, I don't know how bad I want to hurt feelings tonight. You know what?
You're allowed to pick me.
It's only week 2, so you can't hurt feelings that bad.
So, Carl, if we were talking about who we thought was going to come in 11th, it would be you.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I am white tonight. Holy shit.
Yes, you are. That's every night. But I did finish 11th almost every single race in the Fuel Sportsman Series. It was incredible. And it was better than you, Nick, so it's cool.
What the fuck? Why am I so white?
Because you got a white light on you.
Because you have a very direct light. That's the problem.
But it's not direct though.
It is. It's enough.
I need to
Anyway, I actually got to go with Will Roberts.
Good pick. Nicholas?
Go with no, let's not go with Carl. It's really tough. It's really, really tough because I have like 3 names that I really want to say. God, I'm turning into Carl with this man crush here. I'm gonna pick Blake. I really think Blake is gonna be super fast. So I think it'll be Blake.
Okay. JJ?
I think I'm gonna have to say the 38 of Shane Theron. I think that's how you say his last name. The way he drove around me at Daytona, like they just blew my doors off like 15 to go. It was pretty impressive. Plus, seems to get 5 or 6 wins a year anyways, so always a strong pick, I feel. But yeah, I'm gonna go Shane.
All right, I'm going to go with Bessie.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who the hell you were talking about for about half
Bessie.
a second.
Bessie. However you say his last name.
So I just wanted to point out, because I pulled up how people ran in the Sportsman Series. It was at Homestead in the Sportsman Series. Again, a different car, but Shane got the pole, and Alan Elwood actually won the race.
Huh. I forgot about Elwood. Yeah, that would have been a good pick, too.
Yeah,
So-
we're still learning the league, and at the very least, when us three up here were running, we weren't running around those guys unless they were lapping us. So.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
That would not be fun.
But
Why,
It's
Randy? It's what you experience every week.
Yeah, no, I drop out before that happens.
Randy, we can talk about Wednesday and about every 5 laps. Oh, there's the wall.
Yep, exactly. Was that correct or not?
Why does that not
Yeah.
sound like Randy?
No, that was exactly correct. Because Josh joined us in the channel, and oops, ow, oops, damn it! I was just trying to do my best Nick impersonation.
But you didn't always do it in turn 4.
No, it didn't. It was mostly in turn 2. So, all right. So let's wrap up this fuel
Bunch of dicks.
segment, and I can't believe what Nick. You got a problem over there?
What a bunch of dicks.
Who?
You guy.
Yeah,
What do we do now?
Pull the best Nick impression. Bunch of dicks.
Oh boy, you know we love you, Nick.
Not
So
that bad.
we love you so.
I don't know. Carl didn't like me too much the other day.
Oh boy, we'll talk about that later. All right.
I was
Let's-
gonna
I
say,
don't like you much any day, so.
Oh,
I took over
ow.
the brunt of Carl's hatred last night, but we'll get to that one too.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. So, anyways, JJ, we want to thank you for coming on the show. Hopefully, we'll get to see you again in Victory Lane this year in the Fuel Series. And you have a great night. We'll see you on Monday night in Fuel.
Alrighty, y'all have a good night too.
Thank you
Thanks.
for coming on, sir. All right. And apparently Blake is an idiot and somehow muted the audio for the stream.
What did he do?
He said that the audio was gone, sent me into a spiral of, oh God, is it broken again? And I look at all my stats and everything's exactly where it was for the past 20 minutes. And
So he muted it for himself. I thought you were saying
Yeah.
he muted it for everyone. So.
no.
That's what I thought he said too. Yeah.
I would have tried to figure out how that was possible.
Anything's possible.
It's Blake Powers.
Yeah, exactly. We got.
Well,
He's
hey,
powered
he can't,
to
cautions.
And, yeah.
well, we can't have Blake cautions anymore, so we might as well have Blake muting.
Yeah.
So TNT last night. Move into that and talk a little bit of that fun stuff. By the way, before we get into that, let's do a quick commercial. I'll just do it live, I guess, or you got one?
I have the AOLL since we are moving into that.
Let's
and it
do
gives
that.
me time to run to
Absolutely.
get beer.
The
AOLL began online racing in the mid-1990s, with Papyrus's NASCAR racing still going strong 27 years later. On the iRacing platform, the TNT Series races on Thursday night, running the ARCA Chevy cars for drivers looking to learn and have fun. The Cup Series races on Sunday nights, featuring league veterans and Class A licensed drivers. The Sportsman Division races on Wednesday nights, running the Gander Outdoor Trucks with drivers from the Cup and TNT Series. You can catch all of the AOLL racing action right here on Ghostfire Media.
What kind of phone do you use?
And we're back, gents.
Samsung.
We're fighting with Nick now on the show. As his lighting is not making him look any good, and we're telling him to go to Marshall's or Ross's and
hold on. You
get a
said my
$7
lighting's not making me look good. There isn't a set of lights in the world that could make me look good.
Well, why the hell are you bitching
Maybe no
about it?
light.
Why can't you look as good as Carl?
It's dark there in Massachusetts. Just turn the lights off.
It's coming. Look at this. Look at this.
Just
At
a certain point, you just give up.
If you lost,
my hair, and I looked at the top of my head today, and I was like, "There's nothing left."
If I let mine grow out, it would look like that.
Biosil.
Pressing.
Take some Biosil. It'll start helping your hair.
Now I'm gonna get Propecia.
No.
A razor also helps.
It's also a lot cheaper. A lot
Hold on,
cheaper.
Wait.
Yeah, like you know,
Josh.
Josh.
Say a razor. You can purchase a Gillette at your local Walmart, Target, or any convenience store that sells razors, which is most of them nowadays, which is surprising, for a whopping $21 with 6 blades.
Yeah,
Go ahead, jump on that with Gillette.
Yeah.
Or you can
Hey,
just do
As
what I do.
smooth as a man
I'm not
can get.
sure.
I just use an old school safety razor to clean up the edges, because guess what? One blade costs $1.
I used a
Josh,
safety
I'm trying to get
razor
a
for my neck.
sponsorship.
Yeah.
Trying to get a
But-
sponsorship from Gillette here.
But then you also throw out the absolutely astronomical price of their blades.
$20-something dollars. Yeah.
I don't care. Their blades are amazing. I mean, I use them so often.
Yeah, I use Dollar Shave Club for my head. So
Yeah, Dollar
cheap.
Shave Club. $1. There's all it takes. So, hey, by the way, I have to tell you guys this funny story. I was in Walmart recently, and this girl was pushing her kid around, and her other kids walk around, and the little kid goes, "Mommy, how come we can't go shop at Target?" His mom said, "Because only rich people shop there."
I shop at Target. I'm the farthest thing from rich I can think of.
do you guys even have Walmarts up there though?
Me? I have a Walmart.
Walmarts are everywhere.
37 seconds from my house. I used to work at a Walmart.
Oh, well, yeah.
He was a greeter.
I wasn't-
Because he walked in there and said, I want a job here. Well, sir, since you're so old, we'll put you as a greeter. I'm 25 years old. God dang it.
I feel like he probably lasted like a week as a greeter, telling everyone that they were awful and they shouldn't even bother coming in.
I was there for 3 very long years.
Long enough to get stock options.
Long enough to want to jump off a bridge.
So there goes our chance at Walmart sponsorship.
Well, you don't
Anyway.
want that sponsorship anyway. Trust me.
Well, I can say some
Hey,
positive
their
things
stock is
about
up.
Circuit City if we want Circuit City sponsorship.
Yeah, that's worth a whole 35 cents.
Would you? Oh, so can we trade that in for CarMax?
No, we cannot.
No, we'll just use it. We'll use it for some points at the local Costco.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and talk some TNT racing here. Yeah, let's go on. Last night you guys had a good race, not bad. At least it was pretty clean. I will say that.
Yeah,
I would say yes, it was pretty clean. I would say you guys did an awesome job of keeping away from each other. Yeah, I know, Josh, you had a couple, or at least one oh shit moment.
Avoidable incident.
There's
Yeah.
There's a few people who might think different when you say clean if they were around me last night.
That's what I was hinting at.
I may have had a body count last night inadvertently. I don't know what it was, but it was completely inadvertent. But I think I chose the wrong paint scheme, being Tony Stewart, and I drove like him all night.
I'll tell you what, that paint scheme threw me for a complete loop because I thought you were a Jeff Gordon fan. I didn't expect to see a Tony Stewart paint scheme with you.
So the Tony Stewart thing is actually like a personal connection. My father-in-law worked at the Home Depot for 20-something years, and he passed away last year. So
the fact that you just called it the Home Depot tells me everything.
I'm a Lowe's guy.
Mm.
I like Lowe's.
So, for what it's worth, Nick, you did not have the most incidents last night.
No,
it was the second most.
I felt like a piece
Second
of
most?
trash.
Second
Like,
most.
The third lap of the race, I took out John Gordon completely inadvertently, and I touched him by like that much just because I got loose. But there were a couple incidents last night that I felt bad for, but did for at the same time because I felt like I got turned into the wall a little bit, but it is what it is. It's short track racing, tempers flare. Move on to next week. Who cares?
My tempers didn't flare.
Well, hey, you know what? Yeah, you're the only one who had flares going on.
No, I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry at all. There were people who were angry at me, which
maybe
in all honesty,
one of them's in the comments right now.
In all honesty, there's more important things for me to worry about once I get off the sim, so I just let go of it.
What you gotta do.
Well, speaking of people letting go. Speaking of people letting go after the race, I didn't let go. Well, apologize to Josh. I sent him some pretty angry messages after the race, and immediately recanted them like 30 minutes later.
Yeah. Let me just put it this way: if you look back at the Atlanta race that we had, there was no fighting between me and Carl. Carl just, once he was faster than me, and I knew it, I just let him go. The beginning of the race, I had a move on Carl. He just let me go. And then I was too focused after Brandon Bernhardt got around me to realize that Carl had a monster run. I dropped down onto my line and killed it.
Well, so and I mean to be clear. So first of all, I want to point out, there was some discussion with, I've talked to Brandon about it. I think Blake said something about it after race. I felt like the racing between the two of us, Blake Zede and Brandon Bernhardt, was the best racing I've had since I've joined iRacing. It was incredible. I was kind of riding behind you, Josh, even before Brandon got around me, and I felt like I was faster. But I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, as long as I hold the low line, Brandon's not going to get around me. Josh has got damage. He's going to burn up his damn tires, and then I'll be able to go around. I'm just going to wait. And then Brandon got around me, and I'm like, what? Like, if I had known that was going to happen, I would have asked Josh, like, hey, man, can I get by? But I had no idea Brandon had that much speed last night. He was incredible.
Let me put it this way. The move that Brandon threw down on me to get around me from in the lead, his breaking point was 2 car lengths deeper than I would even dare do. And I was already down to corner speed before he got even near me. And all of a sudden I look over and there he is. And I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to fight this one off. I tried for one more set of corners and I was just like, nope, my tire's done. I was towed in from the beginning of that after that last restart. I checked the data. My tires were at 280 degrees when, if I didn't have the damage, they were peaking at like 540 or 240.
I look at what I think of 3 scenarios why Brandon was able to get around us that quickly, especially with that kind of outside line like that. The first reason could be that he's just much better than us, which I'm not throw it. I'm not going to discount that. It's entirely possible. But second, I do wonder if perhaps him, running around, having to come from the back because of that unfortunate penalty he got, perhaps he had more experience passing people because we haven't had great turnout on practices recently. So I'll be honest, I haven't had a lot of practice passing people at TNT tracks. It's just like, for the most part, like, people go out and run like 1 or 2 lap stints in practice and then they'll pit and then it's over. So I had run the outside line. I didn't feel confident passing anyone on the outside line. But then the other scenario I'm wondering is, he already had prior to last night had 3 wins in the season. He can take some risks. Like, if he spins out, like it's not the end of the world. He's gonna drop a race here or there at some point. So.
And hopefully it's not dropping the only non-wins that he has.
Right. Which look, we look at averages right now. That's what's going to happen. He's going to drop. He's going to basically have an entire season of wins.
Yeah, he's going to, I think he's going to probably drop a second or a third.
Yeah.
That's the way. I mean, he came from all the way from the back of the pack and tracked you guys down. And when he got up there with you, Carl, got side by side with you, and Josh was kind of hung up there up top, we were like, oh my God, these guys are a 3-car battle for the lead coming off of turn 4. And we almost, at least me, I said, if any of these guys make the wrong move, all 3 of them guys are going to go spinning, and somebody else ZD's going to probably win this race, or Schilling or somebody like that. It was really incredible. I have to commend all 3 of you guys on some excellent driving.
Well, and I'll be the first. I'm not very good at passing people. I don't know that. I feel like there were at times last night that I was better than Josh, that I was better than Brandon, that I was better than Blake. That's not necessarily the entire race, but I'm not very good at passing people unless I am much better than them, and that's why, like, you see what happened in Atlanta. I stalked behind Josh for 20, 30 laps throughout the race and just waited for him to wear down his tires. And then once I had that differential, I was able to pass him. And that's really the only hope I had last night because I didn't feel like I could go up and try to pass him with us nearly equal. And the same with Brandon. I didn't think I could hold. I was holding that inside line, hoping that I'd be able to hold Brandon off. And the same with ZD. I mean, it was awesome racing with him, though. That was a really fun race.
Well, it really, the big thing is it also really helps that, and not that I don't have respect for everyone in the league, it's just, these are the guys that I'm running around constantly, and you know what? I know that Carl, if he's going to throw a move on me, I'm not going to have to worry. He's going to be in control. Brandon...
after last night, you might have to worry a little bit.
Yeah, I know. You owe me one. But then, Brandon, over the past 5 races, and I've run around him in Sportsman enough to where I know that, you know what? If he's faster than me, he's going to get around me somehow, so I'm not going to fight too hard. And the same thing with Blake ZD. We've run around each other enough to where I have utmost respect for them, and at the same time, I know that I'm going to get a good, hard battle if I really want it, but at the same time, we're running for a championship here. I don't want a hard battle because we've seen what happens in those situations and people get thrown to the side.
Well, honestly, if we look at the year-long championship, Brandon Bernhardt winning races is like the best thing that can happen for you outside of you winning races. I mean, honestly, I'm the only person, maybe Chris and Sean Carmody and I think Tim might be there as well. If they were racing again regularly, they might have a shot, an outside chance. But really, if you look at points, I'm the only one year long that has a chance, and it's a very slim chance. And as long as I'm not winning, it's pretty well good for you.
I was going to say that 10-point differential between first and second is monstrous. And then it's only 5 between second and third. So, no, but the thing is we're back to the first season of TNT to where I just can't seem to get the win.
But now, be fair. Yeah, you can't get the win. But if Brandon had not come back, you would have the win. It's only because we had Brandon figure into this whole equation, and that's kind of taken that whole thing away.
The competitor in me wants to say, I wish he hadn't, but at the same time, he's made it so much more fun since we've lost Sean for most of the races this year. It's no matter what, it's always fun to have people that challenge you because it forces you to get better. Simple enough. And Carl and I push each other to where, Randy, you got to hang out with us in practice on Tuesday night and get to see what happens.
Yeah, and I talked a lot about that on the broadcast last night. I had picked you, Josh, as the winner.
Well, that's why you didn't win.
Yeah.
Well, and
commentator's curse.
And Randy, I know you mentioned on the broadcast when we talked, you heard Josh and I, me being frustrated that I couldn't get faster than Josh.
Yes.
I got faster than him. I practiced until I got faster than him, and I got the pole. I didn't execute though, so yeah.
I was kind of surprised when you got the pole, and then you were out in front, and then Josh tracked you down, got around you, and you fell back to like fifth. And I was like, what actually happened there, Carl?
Well, so first of all, Josh told me early, like before we took the green flag, he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna give you some space on these first couple laps." And then like lap 1, he's on my inside. I'm like, "What the hell, man?" But that's all good. I was conserving. I was much better on a long run. If we could have had a 60 lap run last night to end the race, I think I would have won the race. I did so much practice with conserving my tires. I'm not good at short runs. I've got to play my strengths, and same thing with Atlanta. I was focusing on the long run, and we didn't have a long run to end it. I had a relatively long run, but it wasn't long enough. So
well, and Carl and I talked about it yesterday in a private chat. He will start conserving from lap 1. Whereas me, I'll push for 5 laps, and if it looks like we're going to stay green, then I pull back.
Well, and we saw it at Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta, you had the pole, I think, there. I was either second or third, and you pulled away from me by probably 3-4 car lengths early on, and I just kind of hung around until we didn't have cautions. I had tires get around you, so... Yeah, and then we had the same thing happen after pit stops when I screwed it up. So,
well, and I watching the broadcast last night, rewatching it. You guys were trying to figure out what actually happened to Blake Zede, and why I got around him during the pit stop is he blew his pit stall.
Yeah, he told us after the broadcast that he had got in there and blew it basically, and that's kind of what I thought he did. Was he overshot his pit stop, and
what he said. It was ever so slight, but it was just that 1 extra second.
That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes. So Nick didn't have a bad run, 6th last night, so that's not bad. Could have been better, but not bad.
Hey, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be frustrated with it, so it's not bad. So let's go ahead and
well, hold on.
What?
Let's go ahead and touch on the fact that our resident alien says pit stop shouldn't have happened last night. If you stayed out, you would have gotten freight trained.
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
He's saying there shouldn't have been cautions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, the cautions that we had. Do we want to talk about?
No, honestly, because we're talking about somebody that is new to the sim. He's learning, and it's a beginner.
Look, I would ask that anyone that brought out a caution last night learn from your mistakes. Try not to have it happen again. I don't have a problem with it.
Hey, I will say this. His son actually said to me, I just hope he doesn't beat me again. So there was no way he was going to be his son again. Because that was all he hoped that would happen. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get our picks for next week.
At the Roval.
The Roval. So, Carl, got a pick?
Yeah. I'm going to take the easy pick at a road course. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I mean, I think, it depends on, you can get some guys who run time, like, someone like Sean Carmody, Gary Winters. They've shown that they are very good at road courses. And Blake Zede's also shown that he's solid.
I was going to say, Zede's been pretty good.
But Josh is so damn good at road courses. So y'all gonna make me pick first? I'm picking Josh.
Okay.
And
John?
If he actually shows up, I'm picking Carl. And I know he's talking about, because aren't you going to Nashville?
I'm going to be in Nashville to see the IndyCar race next week,
which I'm excited to watch.
My stuff. Yeah.
So honestly, I've seen the improvement. We got to see some of it in the Cup race this past weekend, and you've always been fighting for it, just not at the front. But yeah, you've taken a love to road courses.
Well, I will hope that someone will take you out in the first corner of the first lap, and then I might have a shot.
Let's not have that happen again, please.
Please. What's so funny there, Nick?
It's not too far stretched from the imagination that something like that.
Considering the last road course that TNT ran, it happened.
It did.
It might not happen specifically to Josh, because I think that was like a one-off, that situation where that person started there. But if it happens again, I don't know. I'd have to reevaluate if I race on Thursdays if that happened again.
The incident in question, he's fantastic at qualifying, not necessarily race.
Stopping? Not necessarily stopping?
All through the Winter Series, that guy was beating my butt. So I'm not going to... He's good at racing, too. He made a mistake. I'm not going to give him too much crap for it.
All right, Nick, got a pick? Hey, that rhymes.
Yeah, I got a pick. I mean, I can't go with anybody else. I think it's going to be Josh. It's the same thing I say with Causey in the IVRL. Someone has to go out there and prove it to me that with Josh doesn't have a mistake, they can beat him at the road course. Until they do that, I'm just going to keep picking Josh.
Okay, I'm going to go on a little bit out of the outside. I'm going to pick Blake for this one. No, just kidding.
There is a Blake, and he's actually not terrible.
No, that's right. Blake Gordon's going to join in for this thing and beat everybody just for fun. But no.
Blake's actually going to be racing for Blake Zede this week. He's going to be subbing.
Wow. Wouldn't that be something if he did? And then everybody's like, what the hell happened?
Hey, Zede just came out and whipped us.
Here's a scenario. What if Blake's been driving for Brandon Bernhardt this time?
Oh, my God. Controversy.
Brandon's awesome.
Controversy.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
start that controversy. Hashtag check into that. I want to know how Brandon's talking over the mic through his account. If Blake is Blake flying to his house every Thursday just to drive? My God.
Wow. That's amazing.
Blake said the gap would be bigger.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got a phantom cutting the course last night. He would have got a Blake caution with 10 to go to stack the field up.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, look at that. There's a piece of debris in turn 4. Throw the caution tower. Blake's in second.
Oh, who dropped that rubber on the track?
Wait, so, all right, Randy, who are you actually picking?
I'm picking Josh.
Okay.
I agree with everybody else. Until somebody beats him.
Except for Josh.
Except for Josh. Well, Josh, yeah. I mean,
Josh doesn't normally pick himself, though. He's
not making a shot.
He's very humble. But no, so it's almost the same thing in IVRL, like with IVRL here at a road course.
Yeah,
you don't. I know we didn't touch on IVRL, but we are back on Tuesday. I know Josh isn't here, but whatever. Picks for Tuesday at the Glen.
Well, really, come on, Causey.
I,
Causey.
I want to say so bad
Patrick
that I
Gaspar.
think Patrick Gaspar is going to be able to do it.
No.
But it's the constant shooting yourself in the foot at road courses, which makes me not want to pick him. Like, he'll be there. He might take the lead. He might lead the race, but he's either going to make a mistake on pit road. He's going to spin himself out. It's just, he's got, I don't know, no luck at road courses when it comes to just not getting himself into trouble. So I think it's going to be Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph Causey. Yeah, Carl, you agree?
I think it's hard to go against Causey. But you know what? Why not? I'm going to go with Derek Schilling, actually.
Derek doesn't run road courses very good.
But he's in the top 5.
The last road course, I think he ran third?
Derek
fourth?
outran Adam at the last road. Well, the last.
Derek finished 5th.
Let's not talk
Sonoma.
about the last road course, because if we bring up Road America, bad things happen.
Oh, was Road America the last one? I thought Sonoma was the last
one.
No,
Road
America
America.
was the last one.
So here's a quick recap of the road courses this season. At Daytona, Patrick Gaspar was nowhere to be seen. He just had a terrible start to the race, and he was out of it. At Sonoma, he was there all night, himself out with fresher tires, coming for the win. At Coda, he made a mistake. Same thing, spun himself out. And then at Road America, he was just as fast as Causey for the first 3/4 of the race. Causey, Lewis Hamilton himself, got faster, caused controversy, and Gaspar spun himself out after he took the lead in turn 1, 10 seconds after he took the lead, and just it was just heartbreaking. But there's a pattern to it, which is why I say that it's going to continue unless 2 weeks off, maybe he's recharged, gotten all the anger out of his system. I think the rivalry is kind of dead. I think time off kind of put the kibosh to it.
Until we start racing again.
Race control kind of put the kibosh to it. So we'll see. But I don't think you're going to continue to see it going into the Glen. I hope not.
No, I'm not either. So, all right. So Josh is checked out for a little bit, probably going
Do
to...
we want to start our new segment?
Yeah, I think we should start our
Cue
new
the
segment.
Looney Tunes noises. Ba-da-ba-da-bup, ba-da-ba-da-bup. This is the Blake and Justin show.
Yeah, we have a new part of our show tonight. It's going to be the Blake and Justin. Blake
For
and Justin show.
shortsies, you could just call it the Bluston show. Boom. There's their couple name.
How about we
or
just
the
call him BJ?
Oh, it's the half-hour power hour with BJ. It's the BJ half-hour power hour. Boom, there we go.
Hey, just the tip with BJ.
Oh, all right. I can't anymore. I'm pulling it up here. All right. Well, our hosts are here for Just the Tip with B and J, or as Carl would like to say, Just the Tip with BJ. So, God, I don't even know where to begin.
Boy, I love the way we have them stacked up, one on B and J.
Like on top. That's the way it should be, right?
Just
Exactly.
so
Based on the
everybody's aware. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, right off the bat.
Son of a bitch, you are. Well, just so everybody knows, this next half hour of the podcast is probably going to be the most controversial half hour that we've ever put out. And I've said some controversial things here, but this is going to be more because these two just don't give a damn.
And I've been
Carl, are you drinking wild turkey or something? Is that what you're drinking through the bottle?
This is actually Buffalo Trace. And I was joking about drinking from the bottle. I drink it from a glass like a civilized person.
If this goes the way I think it's going to go, I think I'm going to need some vodka.
All right, so you guys take it over. We're going to let you guys just talk it out. You guys kind of run your own show here, kind of a segment, and just kind of talk about what's going on in AOLL.
You guys can't just spring that
we
on us like
signed
that.
up for.
Yeah, you guys didn't brief us on this part.
All right. Well, here, we'll brief you on it. You're running the next half hour of the show. You have you have 4 producers here who will sit in your ear and laugh as you say incredibly awful things, which we're gonna love every second of. And
No, we're gonna
Probably
need some
enjoy.
guidance. We're gonna
Yeah, I
need some
didn't sign up for
guidance.
this either.
all right, Josh, you're the guidance guy. You were gone, so
well,
we just kind of. Oh,
He's the
Josh,
he's the one that recruited us. So
while you were gone, Josh, just so you know, the title of this segment
Is not.
is Just the Tip with BJ. Well, it goes. We're gonna transition tonight from Just the Tip with BJ to Stump Nick.
Yep.
Just think about that for a second. Put that in your mind and let it sit there.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
All right, so you guys, all right, we'll kind of give you a little thing. All right, so let's talk a little bit of sportsman with you guys. You guys talk about sportsman, how you think things are getting going, what needs to be done to make it better, all that good stuff.
We'll let the points leader go first.
oh man, all right. I mean, it's been fine. Thank you for that, Justin. By the way, I appreciate it. It's been fine. It's just I think the car count kind of tapered off. I'd like to see us have a little bit more trucks in there. But I mean, the last few weeks, it's been what it is. I mean, the races have been fine. Nothing real too crazy going on there. I wish I had really more to say. You guys got to like push us along
All
here.
right.
Fine,
So
I'll
we
steer
are
it towards the
we are
topic.
now at the point to where we are 7 races away from the chase, and we're gonna kind of talk the same thing about the Cup as well. What are your guys' projections for the chase this year in Sportsman? Since we know that last year kind of ended in a very interesting manner.
Well, Justin doesn't care about the chase this year, so I'll let him take this one.
So I'm going to miss a couple of races in both the Cup chase and the Sportsman race. So and the Sportsman chase. So the final 6, if I had to guess, would be Blake, Joe, Daniel. I would say Brandon Bernhardt, and then it gets tricky because I don't know if the admins have made a decision whether race winners are going to be able to make it. So because we've had Chris Bassini's won, Nick has won, and he's not in the top in points. Dan Witt's dropped out of the chase, but I think he may be back. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any change with how the admins choose to incorporate race wins, if they incorporate them at all. If not, I would say Adam probably.
Mr. Wood is only in 11th right now, and if we want to go back to Dover,
Pace levels a field. I mean, so if he can make it into the top 16, who knows?
it's 18 for Sportsman.
18. Sorry.
Yeah, I even have a shot at making the 18.
That's 18, 12, and then 6. So there are 6 races, 6 drivers in the final 3 races. So I know that, it would be a long shot at that point. Obviously, the final 3 races are a short track, a road course, and then Vegas, which
Yeah, I was just
frankly,
looking at that.
that does fit Blake's style, in my opinion, the best because it's 3 diverse types of track, and Blake is the most well-rounded, if you want to call it that, driver that I can think of. I haven't seen Michael Stroll. Well, he's not in the chase either, unless they pick race winners. But, yeah, I think it's going to be tough for anyone in that final 3 segment. Dan Shirley may be the other best, most balanced driver because he's done really well on road courses also.
I
With
mean,
the
Dan was en
exception of
route
that
to
last lap.
Dan was en route to win the whole thing last year until he had that late yellow. I think that's kind of overlooked as he was well on his way to win Darlington last year until we got that little bit of a scramble at the end. Yeah, we
That
all
was
do.
my first iconic call.
Yeah.
By the way, from the moment it happened, remember who was on your side.
It was the
I know.
Bob Jenkins call from North Wilkesboro in '89 or whatever it was when Ricky Rudd and Dale Earnhardt spun. That was your moment, Nick.
Hey, I've had a few of those in the IVRL this year, but I can't wait for the chase because that's going to be fun.
And
The Sportsman racing has been pretty good. I've actually been happy with the different people who've been running up front, the consistent. Like, I've stopped practicing so much, again, because I know I'm not going to advance in the chase, so I've kind of dropped back some. But, like, Brian McFerrin did a great job at Dover. He was running up front. He was in 3rd, I think, before the last caution came out. We've seen Sean Carmody up front, and he won a race or 2. Chris Bassini won a race. So, I mean, there's been a great cast. Now, some of those, Blake wasn't there, but let's be honest. But, I mean, there's been a great cast of people up front. Nick Adams has won a race.
yeah,
You're welcome.
I may have won the race because somebody decided to push me to the win and didn't want me to not win it. that person may or may not be here, and I may appreciate
It's
that.
not that okay. So if I had felt like I had an opportunity to win it, I would have dumped Joe ass like last week's
Hey,
Chinese
listen,
food. But
there was no way anybody was dumping me, and I wasn't coming back across the track. I was ready to turn that wheel right.
so yeah, I just think it'll be interesting to see who advances to the final 6. If the same drivers who have been consistent stay consistent. But I mean, Klingbeil has been fast. He's been a little bit inconsistent. Andrew Burgess has been fast. He's been a little bit inconsistent. So the chase is the chase.
I want to throw this one out there that William Klingbeil is currently in 6th in the chase, or in the standings, with no top 5s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a.
It just shows the consistency.
Yep.
Or is it the how many races?
I honestly, I'm more impressed by that than I am someone who comes up and gets in the same spot, getting like a lot of top, a few top 5s, and then a few 20ths and things like that. I mean, honestly, that's impressive. I mean, being able to continuously run, and not have those disastrous results like that's impressive. I mean, it's hard to do.
And especially with the talent in the sportsman, in all honesty, it's really, you're seeing the best of all the leagues, to where we're seeing Sean's surge through the ranks at this point. We're seeing...
He's actually 6th in Cup also, by the way. He's 6th in the Cup standings, too.
Yeah.
I think everyone needs to be happy that this guy doesn't get practice time before the race. He gets home from work like 5 minutes before the race starts, so he doesn't get a warm-up. Like, the race is his warm-up. And then by the time it's over, he's at the front. If he had like another hour, he'd be a threat every week.
Yeah.
He was legitimately faster than me at Bristol Dirt. Like, the whole restart at the end there, that is what it is. But like, he was legit, I think, at least top 2 fastest on the track. He absolutely deserved that win. Then Indy Road Course circumstances at the end of that race over in the Cup Series. But yeah, I mean, he does so much racing. Like Brandon and I were talking about how much he's raced this year. It's insane. That's all the guy does. So
he's
getting
his
better
stats, and God, I wish I had the time to pull off half of what he runs.
I don't know where he finds the time, because even when I was like, last year at college, not doing anything because I knew I wasn't going back, story for another day. But anyway, I still didn't put up those numbers. So yeah, I don't know where he's finding the time to do it.
We need to do just 2 hours with Blake one week. Just 2 hours of learning Blake's life story up to.
I think it's something I brought up during the TNT segment, and talking about the fact that I'm kind of starting to get diminishing returns from a lot of times I'll say, okay, TNT's running at Richmond this week, I'm gonna run 100 laps solo at Richmond. I'm not getting the kind of returns that I used to, and I actually am wondering if this is something that's benefiting Sean, is that he's running these officials, and sure, it's not necessarily at the track that the specific series is running at. He's getting more practice running around other people, passing other people, being passed by other people.
Yeah, there's no substitute for seat time and experience. There's really not. Like that, you can't substitute anything for that. So the more time he has on track, racing around other people, I mean, he'll just continue to get better. The more time he spends up front in our leagues, and especially now in fuel, because man, that league is stacked with some really fast guys. He's just going to keep on getting better.
So I enjoy this conversation. I don't want to cut this part of the conversation off. We're going to move to another topic, which I think is going to cause a little bit of a stir, but I like stirs.
Yeah, let's do it.
Creates cash.
What you got?
I'm just going to say 3 words and then shut up and let you two go wild. Incident points system. Opinions.
So it depends on your opinion about what. I have disagreed. I think that it's a good system in concept, because one of the reasons that I have lost motivation in the races, knowing I'm not going to make the chase, is because the same people bring out cautions every fucking race, and it gets really irritating to have races or strategies ruined. Brian McFerrin, for example, at Dover on Wednesday was going to finish 3rd. He finished 6th or 5th because the caution came out late in the race. It's those types of things, and accidents happen. I mean, I've made mistakes. I made 3 different mistakes at Dover, so I'm certainly, part of the problem. But it's frustrating when you put in hours of practice or some, a day of practice to get better, only to have it not matter. So the incident point system, something had to happen. Something did.
Yeah. On one hand, like that's racing, but it happens way too consistently. And yeah, I mean, it was the same 4 or 5 guys, and the first solution that got brought up was demotions, and I was actually the guy that steered that conversation away from that, because I'm like, how do you demote legacy members without stepping on toes? You know, because like it wasn't new guys that were the problem, not in full force. So we kind of ended up with this incident point system, and now I kind of wish we didn't have it, because it's just, to me, I feel like most guys, when a wreck happens, like they're done with it that night. But I mean, like I know just the couple of weeks that we had to talk about these wrecks, it's like we're sitting here bickering about it 3 or 4 days after the fact. The guys involved in the accident probably don't even give a shit now. You know, it's done behind. They'll settle it another week.
Well, let me get in there on that whole thing, because I brought out the caution, I think, with lap 93. I think there might have been one after me.
You talking about Wednesday night?
Yeah, Wednesday night.
You were the last caution with 2 to go.
Okay, so I'm the one that cost Brian the good finish, and I did pull out of the race after that. Even though we had a few laps left, I said, that's it. I'm not going to ruin anybody else's race, and I'm one of those guys who will do that. If I feel like I'm in the way of stuff, I'll get out of the race. I'm so inconsistent, and I have to kind of blame that some on my equipment as well, but
not your pedals.
Not my pedals. No, my pedals and my wheel are fine. It's
the pedals are my issue.
Driving through a TV set and not having the VR. When I had the VR, I ran great. I think I ran really good. But since then, it's back to ground zero again. So, but I apologize to Brian for bringing that caution out. So
Sorry.
So one thing I just want to say real quick about the incident point system, and I shared this with Josh. I haven't talked to anybody else about it yet, but I did a little bit of analysis on the incident points in comparison to the number of incidents. And I'll be completely honest, and admins that are listening, wait till I finish. Hear me out. I came into it with the expectation to be biased, and not that just because I thought it was inevitable. Like, I mean, look, if Hanner or Josh goes out and does something on track, I'm going to be the first to defend them, even if I don't even know what happened. Now, if Nick does something, I don't care about that. I'll go against him. But
why do I have teammates?
But I think to some degree, bias is inevitable. I mean, there's no way we can have admins that are completely disconnected. But I came in expecting there to be a small amount of bias. There wasn't. I was shocked by it. So basically what I did is I said, okay, I'm going to do a ratio of incident points to actual, like, what iRacing considers as incidents. And the team that had the lowest, like, ratio, and therefore meaning, like, they had the most incidents in iRacing in comparison to incident points from AOLL, the lowest was actually Endeavor. And Josh pointed out that I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Endeavor is oftentimes going to be more often in the front, and therefore getting passed, so the other person's being at fault more often than not. And actually the second place after that was Steel Horse, and I think that's the same reason. But for outside of Endeavor, which was actually the lowest ratio, I mean, it was pretty even. I was shocked by it. I think every team feels like they're kind of picked on. I felt like Closed Circuit at times was picked on, and we were not. We weren't. I was wrong. The numbers, they kind of laid it out for me. So props to the admins for that.
I will say that after last week and my 12-minute rant on just wanting a basis of what they think might be an incident, I was a little disappointed that no one reached out to me or spoke with me or made any sort of conversation topic about the fact that we still don't know what they consider the basis for an incident.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to push for that because I understand that they're all there.
I'm just waiting.
All right,
they're all. I know what Blake's going to say. Blake said it last week.
No, Blake will tell us. Let Blake explain it. He was one of the admins. He can explain it better than you can.
He's not
I
there
mean,
anymore.
He understands it though.
It is what it is. The incident point system was the tipping point why I'm not an admin anymore. I mean, you're not going to get an answer about it because every wreck is subjective. You know, they're all different. Everyone's opinions are going to be different. Some of them, you know, people think the Earth is flat, but that's obviously wrong. So I don't like the.
What? Are you what? What
I
do you
don't
mean?
like.
If I walk over the horizon, I'm going to fall off. I
Yeah,
can't
I
go to
don't-
St.
I
Louis.
don't
That's
like-
on the other end of the world.
I don't
You
like
mean
the excuse that validates completely wrong opinions. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yes, but if it's objectively wrong and you can prove it, I mean, I don't know what you expect. So yeah, some of the debates that are in there, it's just like I don't see how you guys are seeing this that way. I mean, I hate to bring this up, I really do, but I mean, I got put headfirst into the wall last year at Charlotte in the Sportsman Series and got told it was my fault. I don't understand how that's possible. You know,
Well, and look, I had Joe and I had a conversation about this, and I'll be honest, the result of the conversation wasn't what I wanted. At New Hampshire, I got a little loose in one of the corners. I didn't lose it. I mean, I held it. Got a little loose. I corrected, but I slowed down a little bit. ZD bumped into me a little bit, not enough to cause an incident, and then someone came in the helm and slammed in the helm and caused the wreck. I got an incident point for it. I didn't agree with it, but at the same time, if they call it that way every single time, I can live with it.
That's the problem, though. I saw an incident in New Hampshire where one of the drivers was on the inside lane and was above the second dash line in the outside lane. There was contact, but because the outside car was arcing the turn and came down, that person got the incident. Later on in the race, the driver who was on the inside previously was on the outside car, was in the second lane, and the car slid up into them, and somehow it was the inside car's fault. I'm like, now wait a minute. If you're racing someone, there needs to be a consistent guideline about what is considered inside and outside if you're going to make that judgment. So if you are in the third lane, like the driver was who got turned, then that's outside. So if you're cramming someone down to the yellow line, then I don't know. So I get really frustrated with the inconsistency. But again, like Blake said, each incident is its own thing. So I'm only seeing what my replay says, obviously. Nick had mentioned that too. So there are other factors in play that I may not be privy to. Plus, none of the incidents involved me, so I was only mildly interested in the first place. So most of what I saw was either from my replay or the broadcast. So that was really all I had to go on. But it was frustrating for me to see the inconsistent calls from the same car in different lines.
So what I kind of want is what the FIA has, which is a guideline of this person goes into a corner like this, they have the corner. If you cause the incident, it's your fault. Then it's easy to call. It's not that, and it's very easy to make something like that. If you're the inside car and you come up and you cause the person on the outside to crash, you get the incident. Simple. But like you said, there's an inconsistency there, which is why I'm going to continue to say it every week until I get some sort of conversation had with me about it and telling me what is the basis for the way you call an incident.
Yeah. Personally, I think we just got too many rules in place now with these incidents. I mean, the only reason we're sitting here talking about Carl's incident in New Hampshire is because this thing exists in the first place. I'm sure the incident itself he's already moved on from, but the fact that he has a point towards a race ban now is the only reason we're sitting here talking about it. And even in TNT, the whole point of the 3-strike rule and having that option to kick people from the race were the guys who had zero car control and were spinning out 4, 5, 6 times a race, but not bringing out yellows. And then we're also just haphazardly driving into other cars. Like the racing incidents they fall into that. And it's the same thing in the Cup Series. Like really the issues we were having were just guys spinning out every single race, hitting the wall, spinning out every single race, just haphazardly, just not having awareness. But it's, obviously it's going in with car contact and like straight up racing incidents, like I don't think that's what we need to really be, hammering every single week. But I mean, that's what we got now. That's what we got to deal with.
Well, and if we look at it as is, we're more than 5 weeks into this and we haven't had a race ban yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, because it's like the issue was we felt like certain guys were bringing out yellow flags at a pretty high rate, and it was like a deterrent system. But then we go to New Hampshire and we have 17, 18 yellow flags. We're going to go to short tracks all season and continually have a whole mess of yellow flags. And that's just how it is. Not that I agree with it. I feel like guys should be able to drive short tracks better. Last year when you had half the league coming back into sim racing, like there was a little bit, I think, more leeway because it's like, okay, guys are getting back into this. We don't have the experience. Guys now have 1.5 to 2 years of seat time if they were getting back into things. I mean, you should be able to control the car by now. You know, you should have some sort of situational awareness, and you shouldn't be spinning out every fucking race. You know, like that's.
Well,
that's
I think I mentioned this to you at one point. So one of the things that people need to keep in mind is that the people who are coming back were super fast front runners previously. And so it's really hard to accept that you are not going to be racing for the lead anymore. So you still drive. And I've had that experience too. I mean, there have been leagues. I mean, you see the trophies behind me. I'm like a 6-time champion of my Saturday morning league. I'm not ever going to be that in AOLL. And I know that, but I still drive sometimes like I should be. Does that make sense? So I think some of the people overdrive the car thinking that they should still be battling for the win that they're not. And Josh, I see that jealousy on your face right now.
Hold on. Randy,
He's jealous of my turtle.
I actually, Randy, I didn't know you had a turtle.
I've got two.
I thought past champions were excluded from racing
it
in
was
TNT.
like this year's. Like,
I'm like, no, man.
Disappointing.
This turtle came to me like 2020.
Nick wasn't born yet.
Yeah. Blake was not born. No,
Blake and Nick
was.
weren't born yet.
Blake was like a little kid. He was like itty bitty little kid when I won
He was just
this
out
thing.
of diapers at that point.
You're assuming he's out of diapers.
I can remember his daddy going, "Go back to bed. Go back to bed."
Yeah, I used to sit over his shoulder and watch you guys race like 20 some years ago. Now we're here, racing with you guys. I remember going through.
Our ass.
This is just a side note. I remember going through like NASCAR Racing 2003, like clicking through like everyone's paint schemes and seeing like Joe's like Dragon Ball car and just like Juice's car. Like there's names I remember from that back then, and now I'm like racing with you guys. It's still kind of crazy.
The thing about incident points, just to get back onto that topic, is that things like Blake and Greg at wherever we were just at.
Oh yeah. I wanted to talk about this too.
So, like and I wasn't involved in the incident. I was behind y'all. I wasn't racing for the win. I had no investment in it at all. What Greg did was fine. Like as a driver, as a racer, everything else, except in AOLL.
I was cool with it. Yeah, I was totally cool with the move.
But see, I know you were because that's. I could see you and I racing like that in a different league or in an official race. It would be a lot of fun to do that.
Watching that as a broadcaster, I was just like, you know what? That's a Blake move right there.
Well, it's anyone who wants to go for a win move. That's an anybody move. It wasn't a Blake move. It wasn't a me move. It was a good move.
In the exact right place.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do get it wrong.
Well, I mean, let's set the stage for that real quick. Greg was hands down the best car at Atlanta that day, got screwed over by some yellows coming out at like the worst time. So he has to come back through the field. I had already accepted finishing second place that race. A win would have been a miracle. So, I mean, he did what he had to do. And I wasn't, I told him after the race, like, personally, I don't have an issue with what you did. I'm not even mad at you. Like, that's racing, that's something where I feel like if you're comfortable doing that, you just kind of have to, accept it when it happens to you down the line. That's something that you kind of handle between the two drivers on track later in the season. That's not something that needs to have this whole full blown like review and, whatever after the race. But it's like, this is AOLL. Like we kind of have a different opinion on racing. Not that I like really agree with it because I love showing up every week and racing Justin as hard as I can. Like, Justin, Hanner, Passini, Wellen, Michael Stroll now. Like I show up every week loving like the hard ass battles on track. Like that's racing to me. And I feel like sometimes it's like this league kind of like frowns upon it. In which case like Wellen, like you can't let him do that and then, let him keep the win. Cause the way the rule was, written, that falls under that, personally. Yeah. You shouldn't be junking a guy to win the race. Like if you just right hook him, Carl Edwards at Gateway with like Brad Keselowski. Yeah. You probably don't want to see that, you know?
He deserved it.
Yeah, but like Carl Edwards at Kyle Busch at Richmond, like a classic bump and run, like that's fucking racing. If you're gonna do that to someone else, if you're comfortable making that move, Mark Martin would never do it. He was a better driver than that. But if you do that, you just have to deal with it if it happens to you later down the road. Like that's how racing's been. That's how I race.
That's the part that I think that wouldn't translate well. It would become an escalation instead. Like Hannah and I have gotten together a few times over the course of the season. So if I were to go turn him just because I were pissed off, that would be an incident point for me, as it should be.
Yeah.
If I happened to clip the apron and slide up into him. That's a racing incident. That's what happened. And Hannah has apologized each and every time. He has profusely apologized, and it's been sincere. So if I were to turn him just for no reason because he got into me at Pocono or whatever, that's douchey. And that's what the league is supposed to kind of be preventing.
Well, and if we
drivers
go back
policing themselves only works in situations where they can disconnect themselves from the result like you can. Like, that's the problem.
Well, if we go back to TNT, I think it was Southern National, and Cody Leland got into the back of me with 2 laps to go, and immediately after the race, my inbox was blowing up with, do you think it was intentional? Do you think it was all of this? And I'm just like, even if it was, I don't care. It was racing.
And that's something you would set aside the next time you race him. Like,
I've done it to him.
Exactly. So like that, to me, like that's how we should be racing. But in fuel, I get the sense that's how that league's going to be. Like if you kind of rub someone the wrong way, you just kind of have to, remember it if it comes back to you. But this league isn't supposed to be like that. But I think we have kind of put too many stuff in place to prevent that.
Well, and hold on a second. I just want to say, with fuel, like you'll also deal with it in Discord, as we saw a little bit the other day with some upset people. But
is it Discord get spicy?
Yeah,
it's not IVRL spicy, but it's
it's entertaining.
It's not over the top ridiculous like we see in some other places, but
it's constructive.
Yeah, it's constructive criticism with a few colorful words.
Yeah. But I want to ask. I think a lot of us are saying like the incident point system isn't perfect. I admire the admins for trying something because I sometimes looked at the TNT rule with the 3 strikes and you're out type thing, and I looked at it as like, for the most part, you'd have some guys that are spinning out 2 times every single race, and nothing was happening to them. Nick spun out 3 times in one race, and I got disqualified.
And I took my because I sucked. That night I took my disqualification like a man.
And to be fair, you deserved it that night. I probably did as well. I started by without a third one, but I don't think the 3-strike rule was perfect either. I don't know that have at it a great rule either, because you look at like real life racing, you have sponsorships you have to worry about. You have like the fact that you have to worry about freaking dying or getting injured out there. You have to worry about. I admire the effort to do something, and I don't think the incident point system is awful. I think there are, I look through the list of points, and for the most part, I look at the guys that have a lot of points, and I'm like, yep, that's about right. But I'm wondering, like, in your guys' opinion, where do we go from here? Like, if there were let's say we're not getting rid of the system, what do you think could possibly be adjusted to make it better?
Well, so I want to make.
I wasn't asking you, but okay.
I wanted to make my point that I let you make. Yes, you get why I oughta. The Thursdays and Wednesday. Well, Thursdays. Let's go with Thursdays first. Thursdays, you don't see a parade around the racetrack. You see guys go out there and they know they have 3 strikes, but they still race very hard. You consistently have the racing for the win that's very hard, the racing for 5th place that's very hard. Maybe not 10th because there's a little bit of a skill gap there, but the top 5 is always really hard racing. When I get into the top 5, I always race those guys a lot closer than I'll race anybody else because I know they can do it. Sundays, well, actually Wednesdays, you see kind of a combination of that. You see some guys who know they can race hard without getting into each other and destroying each other and causing themselves issues with the admins afterwards, and guys who don't. But Sundays, it seems like you see more of a parade-style race where guys don't want to hit each other. They don't want to get involved in anything. In the back of the pack, it really is a parade. It's a parade. It's an absolute I don't want to get in the inside of that person because if I do, I'm going to slide up and hit them. And because I can't control my car. It's kind of a fine line between creating that throughout the entire field and then allowing guys to go out there and being able to look at it as a race car driver or as a person who knows, how NASCAR would rule a lot of these things. Just racing incidents, they wouldn't even care about this what happened. You can't look at rubbing and racing go together. Just what it is. And some of the rules push people away from wanting to be able to rub and race. I mean, I don't think in the 90s, I wasn't here for it. I was this tall. But in the 90s, I don't think they sat around all week and said, well, I'm not going to hit that guy on Sunday. I'm going to make sure I'm going to try to win the race. And if I get into him a little bit, get into him. But I'm not going to wreck him. Justin, were you here in the 90s?
Yes.
Okay. What was it I don't want to touch somebody because I might get moved away from my position.
They were very strict about holding your line. So it wasn't, like the way they ruled Greg's incident, they would have ruled Greg's incident the same way 20 years ago. It's consistent, and that's what that's what the league is. Now, again, mistakes happen, but Blake and I, except for what it was at Nashville when I ran you up the track, except for Nashville when I ran him up the track or whatever track that was we were just at.
Phoenix,
Blake,
and that was so insignificant. And I'm like, why does he care so much about this? It was lap one.
Because we've raced all season, and we haven't done that. So yeah. Blake and I haven't run into each other the whole season, and you see how many battles that we've had. So it's possible. It is possible to happen.
I just think rubbing and racing go together.
But that's such a poor, like, it doesn't always work like that. Like, I look at, like, me and Josh. Look at the TNT. Me and Josh. Me and ZD. Me and Brandon have had some bumps, like, some rubs. Like, it's not a big deal. But then I also look at what happened to Josh last night. And that wasn't an issue of, this is some close racing. It was, again, someone new to the league, but it is someone that just lost control of their car. And it was a mistake, but if someone is making mistakes over and over and over and over, like at some point we have to say something like, where were you on, for practice? Where were you for practice? Like, why weren't you even practicing with us? Like, at some point, like, whether that's an incident point system or something else, you got to do something with people that are just driving awful.
Yeah, I'm only laughing because it's like, the admins, we do care about the league being a good place to race, right? We do care about the races being good, not being caution fest, right? My issue is I tend to care about things a lot. Like, I really care about things a lot. And that I ended up kind of taking over TNT, thinking about ways to kind of help make the racing better there. Gave myself a tool to kind of take people out who were definitely at that time causing a lot of issues. If you guys want to think back to who that might have been, that's why the rule existed. But like, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but it's like, I don't want to be caring more than other people care. Because if those people cared, the same amount, they wouldn't be wrecking every single race. They wouldn't be spinning out every single race,
Well, and then you look at...
Blake, you can't get in trouble anymore. I just want to point that out. You can't get in trouble. You're good.
Yeah, you're right.
He's got people who can target him on Sunday, so...
I would be open to, like, doing it again. It's just at the time, like, I just needed a break. Like, I needed to step away. Like, it was frustrating that when we're having an incident point breakdown, like, people want to come at me with video clips of stuff I've done in the past. Like, okay, we're not talking about me. We're talking about this incident. And then I get thrown under the bus in it. So I'm like, okay, like, if that's going to be the discussion every single time we have a racing it, like a incident point breakdown, I'm not going to be a part of it. Not going to sit there for that. So if you guys want to know what the tipping point was, that was it. Like, I'm not going to do that. But it's like, I'm not going to care about this more than other people are. I'm just going to show up and drive.
Yeah, I understand that.
If we look at TNT, we have, and Carl brought it up, I pop into practice on Tuesday night. We maybe had half the field there.
Yeah. All three of us were there, and I think Brandon was in there.
Yep. We had John.
Gary Winters, I think, was in there for a little bit. And I think that was it.
But again, Dave Wright showed up before we popped out.
Oh, that's right. He was
and there may have people that showed up after we were in there. I mean, I'm not. I
look at the results afterwards to make sure I was still the fastest. Well, now second fastest. Thanks, Brandon. But but it really, like, again, I've popped into quite a few of the practices for Cup, and it's basic. It's actually worse.
There were 6 people at the New Hampshire, North Wilkesboro practice last night.
There were 4 people this week for the Indy Road Course of all tracks. Like, I wasn't there because, for TNT, I've never done cup practice the night after. But I feel like I'm comfortable enough in my skill and ability to not need 4 hours of practice Thursday nights to not be a train wreck Sunday nights.
What are you talking about, Blake? Well, you need all the practice you can get.
Apparently, I kind of on a dry streak again.
I'm a hypocrite because I wasn't there for cup practice either, but also on
You're running TNT.
Sunday before the I was running Sunday before the race. I ran probably 3-4 hours at the Indy Road Course just prepping. I mean, and it's not with other cars, but I mean, and for all I know, the other guys in TNT are doing that as well. But I would just, for anyone in any of the leagues, and this is going out to Fuel, this is going out to look at Fuel, and they have the 2-hour practice before the race, and I'm usually one of the first people on, and for the first hour, there's nobody on. Usually 7 people maybe. Just show up and practice because you can be awesome at the track running around by yourself, but you don't know how you're going to be. You need to learn how other people drive at that track. You need to learn how to drive around them. Because you have no experience. So
That's
all the leagues we cover. Show up.
It's just how people drive around other drivers. I think you kind of see that in CNC with some of the newer guys. Like they just don't know how to be on a racetrack with other cars.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are people that want to learn.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, I'm not saying they don't want to learn. I'm just saying like that's TNT. Like of course, being like the all skill level, you have guys like Brand completely new to this. And they'll learn eventually,
I think that is Blake Ziti. He constantly runs into me. I'm kidding about that, by the way. I know he's watching, so I wanted to give him some crap. But no, I think you look at guys at TNT's where I have the most experience with this. The guys I run together with the best in races are the guys that I've run together with in practice. I run around with Josh. I know what Josh is going to do. Last night, I was timing my entries because I knew where he was going to break every single time. And, if I had not been doing that, my entry was a little bit later than his typically. I would have been running to his rear end every single time. And I think people need to show up to practice. I know everyone has stuff going on, but just show up for a little while and just try to run a few laps with other people.
Or if you can't practice, and this is going to sound shitty, but if you can't practice, understand how competitive you're going to be and race accordingly. So if you can't make practice and if you can't show up 2 hours before the race or whatever, don't race like you're racing for the win on lap 1.
Yep.
True. Very true.
Well,
good point.
Again, it all boils down to these are leagues. You run around the same guys every week. Week in, week out, you're going to see the same people. I did it last year in TNT. I wish I had more time to do it now. But I'll watch the broadcast. I'll listen to everything that everybody's saying about the moves that people are making. I'll watch for myself on my own replays to where I can see, okay, I'm running up against Brandon, and I did it this week, and then he threw some things at me that I'd never seen him do before. But if Brandon's coming at me and looking to get around me, this is generally the move he makes. So I can really pick that up. And you know what? Honestly, if you're wanting to be really competitive, those are the kinds of things that you need to do. And you need to prepare yourself for it.
You got to know everyone's playbook. Sorry, I was going to say.
Go ahead. Blake,
Points leader first. Points leader first.
I was just saying, like, you got to know everyone's playbook. You have to build up, like, basically, like, this database of, like, how everyone drives you, what you can expect. And then, it's like any sport, really. You got to know your opponent. You got to know what they're going to do.
Yeah, so before Hanner, because I think Hanner is probably the best mile and a halfer, in my opinion. I was a little bit better than Blake on the mile and a half, just slightly at the beginning of almost every race. And what Blake can do so kind of intuitively or innately is, I remember in Atlanta, he was running the high line because that had worked in IVRL, but it wasn't working with our dynamic track. So what did he do? He adjusted to my line, and he ran it better than I did, and he won the race. So like that's what it takes. You're not separate. The leaders aren't separated by 3 or 4 tenths in this league. You know, a half a tenth or a tenth of a second is the difference between first and fifth. So now that like Hannah and Chris Bassini and Michael Stroll in the league, unfortunately I'm in the 5th place version of that line, but that's just what happens. So the people who, like Blake, Hannah, who can make those adjustments to the line that's going on are the ones who are going to be successful at the end of the race. But some of that comes from practice. Blake knows he can get into the turns harder than I can. Every single track, every time. That's just his style of driving. The fact that he can do that and then make the car rotate in the center of the turn drives me crazy because I can't. But no matter how much I watch him or how much I follow him, I still can't do it. So I just focus on what I can do well and hope that it works some days.
Yeah, like if I could figure out how to drive a tight setup, man, we'd be in shape.
I was going to say, you're not a tight guy at all. You don't
I was so pissed off at Dover this week because Dover is one of my good tracks, right? So I saw the practice times and the qualifying times that Brian and Justin had laid down, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like usually I'm pretty fast, and then during the race, I tried everything. Like I was trying so many different things, and like Stroll just blew my doors off on 2-lap fresher tires. I'm like, how in the world is he doing this? And really, like, yes, second place, that's a great night. I should be happy with that. But it pisses me off knowing that I'm leaving that much speed on the table because, like, I just want to be that much better. Like, it's a fixed setup race. If I'm getting beat, it's all down to skill.
I remember in practice, I was actually faster than you.
You were.
And I was like, I know this has got to kill Blake. This is probably pissing off more than anything. If I'm faster than you, I know you got to be going, hell with this, I gotta go faster. And I knew why, because you don't like a tight car. And actually I agree with you. I think that setup was a little too tight for my liking as well.
I drove it with 100% gas, right? And then we go and take half of the fuel out for the race, which inherently is just going to make it tighter. The TNT setup last night for Richmond was amazing. Like that one was so free. You could do what you want with it through the corner. It was amazing. Like I drove the Dover open set for the truck. It was slower initially by like a tenth or two, but it would just free up throughout the run. That was amazing. Any setup that you burn the right front down to 60%, while the right rear is like 80 or 90, that's unbalanced as shit. Like I don't like driving that stuff. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Hey, can I just say something about you guys? Both you guys, you scare the shit out of me when I'm like, when you guys come up, if you guys pit and I don't pit, or we get off sequence and I see both of you guys coming, I'm like, oh shit, they're going to do whatever they can do to get around me. And I'm like, oh shit, do I go high? Where do I go?
Well, so it depends on
the
the
circumstance.
If I come out and Blake has pitted and Blake is in front of me, please be worried. If Blake is behind me, I'll be like, okay, you know what? Blake is going to catch me in 3 or 5 laps, so I can go ahead and get around Randy safely. It's fine.
Well,
I don't want to wreck you guys.
Just be consistent. Honestly, just be like the best thing you can do during a pit cycle. And this isn't just you specifically. This is everyone. Just run a consistent line and just be aware of the mirrors. Like I've almost ran guys over because like I'm thinking, okay, like I showed this guy the entire way down the backstretch that I put my nose to his inside, right? I was a half a lane lower. I was on fresher tires. I was so much faster. He still turns into the corner as if I'm not going to be there. And I'm like, okay, just have some awareness, please. Like, you're on 50-lap older tires. I just pit. Like, I'm going to blow your doors off in the corner. He was the leader at that time during the pit cycle, but it's like, dude, just, like, understand the situation, I mean, that's all you can really do.
Just know when I do that to you in practice, it's just because I'm messing with you.
Oh, no, I've run you hard in practice like I was doing last night when I sat on your outside for, like, 20 laps. I mean, it's only going to make you better in the race.
Well, yeah, and it's fun, but at the same time, I'm just like, when is Blake going to end up turning down on me to mess with me?
No, I wouldn't do that. I actually, I do like to race clean. I mean, I think really the only thing that you can really bring up is the Sportsman finale last year. But for the most part, I'm not going to, move you out of the way or, screw you over on a restart or anything like that. I'm going to be pretty fair.
People that's allowed.
Yeah.
Everybody that's in here right now, with the exception of Nick, is allowed.
It allowed to do what? Turn down onto you?
Basically mess with me in any way, shape, or form.
You call our races, I have to be nice to you.
Justin, I'm going to give you a hard time no matter what.
No, I know. I know. You can make fun of me. So the Cup race on Sunday was my first race with the load cell pedals, and I had practiced for hours all week long trying to get used to them because stopping is a lot harder. Like you have to press the pedal a lot harder. And my old pedals, the spring was so soft I would use the tips of my toes to push the pedal down so I could modulate how much brake I was giving. My foot started to cramp up about halfway through the race, and I couldn't stop consistently anymore because even though I had to use the ball of my foot to stop the car, I was still like instinctively pushing my toes into the top of it. And my feet, so like halfway through the race, I don't know if you saw it, it was that long left-hander. I went off the track and was like, oh, because my foot just fell asleep. I couldn't press the brake anymore.
No, if I remember correctly, it was turn 8.
It was one of them. I don't remember.
It was after the long straightaway on the back.
It was a left-hander, and I was in the grass.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
that
whatever left-hander I was in the grass, that was why.
I remember.
So I knew you'd find that funny, so I told
did.
Blake, I'm like, I need to be less soft. Apparently,
She said.
you shut up.
We just need to never go back to that track. But anyway,
I will firmly agree. If I never have to race that track, I'm fine.
well, this has been fun. I've been telling like my team, I'm like, if I had control of the league, right, or if I was starting a new one, if I had a clean sheet to like set this up to where like we could be like structured but not have like too many rules, like there's so many things I'd change.
Well, and I mean, it's one of those things that there have been too many situations that have required rules to be created.
Yeah.
But once you reach too many rules, it becomes less about friends racing friends and more of, well, we're going to have to kind of slap you on the wrists occasionally.
Yeah, plus you got to race.
That happens with friends, though. Sometimes I'm pissed off with my friends. And trust me, you all know how irritating I am. All my friends have been pissed off with me.
Oh, like look, I got pissed as hell with Josh last night, as I mentioned earlier, which I was unjustified. But I don't want to like do this constant like backtracking. Like I do want to. I am glad I am not an admin. Like I appreciate that they are trying something. I again, like I said earlier, with like the incident, I don't care about my incident points. I know I'm a clean driver. I'm not ever going to hit 5. But you know, I disagreed at one point. I got whatever. I appreciate that they are trying something. I don't know that the incident point system is the right solution. But we'll see how it turns out. I mean, I think, you know, once we see someone actually get eliminated from a race,
Yeah.
I think
we'll
this
see
so
that
Sunday
race
is
ban.
Sunday's North Wilkesboro, so it'll be interesting to see how many cautions there are at North Wilkesboro, and how many of the same people bring out points again who brought out points at New Hampshire.
It's going to be short tracks that give people the most points. I mean, Wilkesboro is interesting because I remember last year being pissed AF because Justin beat me in qualifying and that determined the race. Like I knew if I could get in front of him, I was faster, but it's just so hard to pass there.
Well, and you look at what happened in TNT a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was the outside line in the ARCA car was the line to have if you were even with someone. And
yeah, like
Randy got me 2 laps later, and once you can dictate the restart, it doesn't matter what lane you're in, you're golden.
Yeah, I mean, coming up, like Wilkesboro is the only race before the chase where I can see people racking up incident points because Watkins Glen, we haven't really been giving points for road courses, even though I know stuff is happening. Indy, I mean, that track is going to blow. Michigan, I can see racing around in a pack. Guys are going to make some mistakes, and netcode's probably going to cause a few wrecks. But I mean, Darlington and Bristol coming up in September, like that's the next time we're going to have some wrecks. And I will not be there for the September 12th Darlington race, just so everyone knows.
Okay. Let's go ahead and transition out of this. Actually, let's go ahead and get our picks for this Sunday night from everybody, and then we'll transition into Stump Nick.
Oh, that's one to stick around for.
Yeah, that's when everybody's going to stick around for that one because I'm sure everybody wants to watch this. So,
Wilkesboro.
Carl,
Yeah.
you just now got that? You are.
We'll leave it alone.
Almighty. Slow.
So,
Well,
Blake.
it's much like you in a typical race.
Okay, so Blake, let's go ahead and ask you. Let's get your picks on Sportsman and for this week's Cup race.
All right, let me see where we're at with Sportsman.
Indy Oval.
Indy Oval, which I heard the setup is broken for, so I don't know.
It's also the worst track ever.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I could see Sean pulling this off. I could see him just doing the right things. Indy's about survival, not hitting the wall, not burning your tires up. And he's just been coming out of nowhere, so I'm gonna say Sean.
Okay. And for Sunday this week.
Sunday. I already forgot. Where are we at in the Cup Series? North Wilkesboro. I'm gonna go with let's go with Hanner.
Okay.
I can't pick you while you're here, Justin. Sorry.
Carl.
Yeah. So for the Truck Series, I do think Sean. I actually wasn't considering Sean until you mentioned that. I think that's a solid pick. But because of the fact that Indy's kind of sort of a weird one, I'm going to pick 2 in a row for Michael Stroll. I think he might be able to pull it off again. And for the Cup Series, I have to agree with Hanner. This is actually, I think, the first time I've picked Hanner. Only because I think he realizes that if he is going to have a chance to get into the chase on points, he's going to have to make some bold decisions. So I know that he's not typically like someone's going to pick short tracks, but I'm picking Hanner just because of the desperation.
All right.
Josh.
So most of the time, if we're talking about something as fast as Indy, I'm going to go with Blake. But I also saw what he did when we were trying to do the full-length Indy 500. Sorry, I have to poke in there.
Yeah, no, that setup was a little twitchy.
I also I just want to add during the winter series when we were running Indy cars, I was just about to pass Blake at Indy before my VR headset freaking the battery died. So the only time in my entire life I will ever get the opportunity to pass Blake and didn't get the opportunity to do it. So.
But if we're talking Sportsman, I got to go with Greg Wellen. He seems to have these trucks figured out. He's fast in any of the cars that we're running, but he's always going to be up there. And if we're talking North Wilkesboro, I'm going to be the one to do it. Blake, I have no idea how you're so fast at these short tracks.
Yeah, I love brakes. I love tracks where you have to use your left foot. I love it. So if I can beat Justin in qualifying, I feel like I have a good shot, because other than that, you can't pass there.
And I'm also not confident that Justin's foot's not going to fall asleep again.
That's true.
No, I'm not practicing as much. It's well rested. We're good.
Hey, Justin, I'll give you a tip on that too. Before
give me the tip.
Yeah, I'll give you the whole 2 tires deep in the back. All right. No,
just holding the side mirrors at least.
No, a tip, just a really good tip for anybody. Magnesium. If you take that a couple hours before the race, your legs will not cramp up like you were dealing with. I deal with the same thing. My legs start cramping up really bad.
Well, it wasn't my whole leg. It was literally my toes because that's what I was using to brake before. It wasn't my whole foot anyway.
But magnesium does work for that. All that. So
Ghost Fire Media. Now
so do we know if
presented by
Piscini is going to be here on Wednesday for the Sportsman race? Because obviously Indy and Pocono are very similar. Chris Piscini was great at Pocono. I think he ended up winning that race. Dan Shirley was great. So I'm going to default and say Dan. But if Chris is there, he's my pick.
Solid analysis.
So for North Wilkesboro, I hate to say that, but Mr. Blake sitting right above me, or whoever wins the poll, quite frankly.
Yeah, the pollster's going to win the race.
The pollster's going to win the race. But
bonus points if the admins can get us lane choice before that race, because it absolutely matters. We've already proven we can do it with no problem, so I don't know what we're waiting on.
I was going to say, if the TNT guys can figure it out.
Hey,
I don't know what else anyone needs to see.
If I win the poll, I'll just pretend to miss turn 1 and I'll take the lead, and then we'll be good.
Or if you start second, you can just turn down. Yeah. anyway.
I'll just ride your door. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we've proven that can work.
Yep.
All right, Nick.
You guys leave so many things for me to touch on. I mean, goodness.
Okay, creeper.
Hell, I can't make my pick without also giving a caution estimate. So the Indy Oval is I'm gonna go with Michael Stroll. I just think he's so damn fast in the truck, crazy. And then Cup Series Sunday night. Blake, probably Blake. But the more important conversation is the caution. And I think the amount of cautions we're going to have is going to assist in Blake's thought process here that short tracks are a problem and that we need to get better at them as a whole. And it's going to be 20 plus cautions because North Wilkesboro, is a hard track to drive.
The setup actually feels pretty sweet, though. I drove in the official series a couple of weeks ago. The setup feels pretty nice this time around. So hopefully with 65% gas, it's still feeling pretty sweet. So
it's not so snappy loose off a 4 or 2. It's very drivable. It really is.
A setup that feels drivable to you two may not feel drivable to somebody in a lower skill bracket.
Like you just got to get good, Nick.
Like Nick. Nick, are you talking about? You said 20 plus. Give us a number.
21.
21. And are you going to be in the race?
I will be.
Okay, I'm making my own estimate.
We had 10 last year, just so everyone knows, 125 laps.
Okay. Well, Nick wasn't in last year, so
Plus, I believe we're 150 this year too. I believe it's 150. Let's go. So we have a few extra laps.
160.
160. All right. So, all right. I will go ahead and make my picks on for Indy. I'm going to pick Dan Shirley. That's going to be my pick. And for Sunday night, I'm going to go with Justin. So, and I love the way that Stroll is, sending these Discord messages, at us. He's like pissed at us for picking.
He's calling us a banana. What?
Yeah,
I'm not full of
that's
potassium.
commentator's curse right there.
He said F bananas. And I was like, why do you want to do that to bananas?
Well, we also got on YouTube Cal saying stop pumping up his ego, so...
Listen, as long as Michael wins here and doesn't win on Mondays, I'll be okay with that. Makes my life easier if he's not winning on Mondays because the points lead won't be 9 million points.
All right, so let's.
I want to just finish within like 500 points of the leader, then I'll be happy. Right. That's gonna be questionable.
Yeah,
for all of us.
So let's go ahead and transition out of this and introduce our new series, part of the show. It's Stump Nick. So what we did is I sent a thing out there. I had people send me questions to try to stump Nick. Now we will see if Nick can answer these questions. If he gets through them, if he gets through the question, then we'll go to a next question until hopefully we can stump him. If we run out of questions here, I will ask Blake, ask Justin, Josh, Carl, anybody else if they want to come in and try to stump him. But we have six
NASCAR related questions.
All NASCAR related questions. Yes.
What do we determine?
I like how I made fun of Nick earlier that we could see him opening Google in his glasses, and now they're off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think you should have the hands up rule.
I'm not holding my hands up, buddy.
He'll go his database. He's got this whole database thing he goes through.
I say we leave it to where he has 15 seconds. Because you wouldn't be able to get, you would not be able to get a Google answer in that time frame.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so first question comes from Brandon Bernhardt. All right, so let's see. Who is the former NASCAR driver and current spotter from Ovada, Colorado? And what's his nickname?
I know nothing about spotters.
Nothing.
I could care less about spotters. The only spotters I know are Earl Barbin, TJ Majors, and
Tim Fedowa.
Brett Griffith.
Earl
That's it.
is the GOAT. He's been my spotter for the last 5-6 years on
Yeah,
iRacing.
I could care less about spotter information unless it's from Junior Motorsports or Dirty Ball Media. So
Well, this is a short
All right.
segment.
So. All right.
I
so-
should have been more specific with what I know.
What was the answer?
You guys should have asked me. It's
Wait.
probably-
We're not
probably
done. We
Tim
can actually
Fedowa.
do this. This guy actually did
Hey,
race.
Randy, is it Tim Fedowa?
No, it's not.
Oh.
He. Okay. So
Jason Jarrett.
he drove the number 4 truck, and he's won in the number 4 truck. He was a truck driver.
More than that.
His nickname was a High Plains Drifter, and he won at Bristol, Gateway, Mason Martin, and Richmond.
Wow.
So, I think the problem is it's a truck, and he probably doesn't drive or watch trucks, do you?
I don't want I know some things about the truck series, but it's more recent stuff about the truck series. I don't know a lot of.
All right, so
You asked my NASCAR knowledge.
yeah, okay. All right,
I
so
don't consider the trucks a part of NASCAR history. They're recent.
Ouch.
No, they're recent NASCAR history.
all
They're
right,
like
so-
modern day NASCAR history. They're not classic.
You
NASCAR.
also asked for everything like 1970 and more recent, right?
Yes, but I didn't say. I should have specified. I know nothing about the fucking truck series.
okay.
I don't know
We're gonna-
anything about ARCA either. So you can ask me ARCA questions. I'll be sitting here all night going, I don't know.
Who is it?
so it was Rick Corelli.
Who the fuck does he spot for?
I didn't
told
know
you.
he was a spotter. I know who Rick Corelli is. I didn't know he was a spotter.
Yeah, he's a spotter.
I heard his name before. I have no. Oh, I know who he is now.
As
Okay, so
Google enters
No.
the picture.
He's,
No.
yeah.
No, I know who he. I didn't know he won a race. I know. Who
All right,
he is.
let's see if you know this one. All right, and I knew this one. This was easy for me. This comes from Kevin Moeller, part of Hendrick Motorsports, by the way. You didn't know that. What was Jeff Gordon's first Cup number and make of the car that he, and what kind of car did he drive? The make.
Oh, was it fucking Ford Thunderbird? All I can think of is the one car, but I know that was the Xfinity series. That's the Baby Ruth Ford. What the fuck? Oh, it wasn't the Thunderbird. It was a Taurus, I think. The Taurus was coming in then.
You are wrong, my friend.
I
The first
know-
question, I knew this one.
I
Wow,
honestly
this is
didn't
easy
know.
for
I
me.
actually didn't know Jeff Gordon didn't drive for HMS in the Cup Series. I did not know that.
He drove for Bill Davis, by the way.
Oh, was it the 22?
No, it was not the 22 car.
23?
No,
Was it a Dodge?
no, it was not a Dodge.
It was
Pontiac?
a Pontiac back then, right?
It was actually a Pontiac, and it was the number 67 Outback car. It was a white and red car.
That must have been like a one-off because the
No, it wasn't a one-off. This was a car that I believe was the first time Rick Hendrick actually saw him driving and said, that kid's out of control. I got to have him. So I believe I have that car up on the wall. Yes, would you like to see it? I will go get it for you. Hold on.
Wow, he did.
The fact that Randy has the die cast of this makes me very happy.
hold on.
Wait.
That
This is a car that he drove right there. The number 1 car was the second car.
That was Bush or whatever it was called then.
That was
Yeah,
the
it was.
1990. You said Cup car.
Well, this is what Kevin Moeller, his
He never drove in the Cup Series for anybody else than HMS.
Yeah, he did drive. Yeah, that's true. He did
Uh-huh.
drive in Bush for Bill Davis.
Yeah. I could have.
I didn't know the car number though.
I didn't know that's what you
Outback.
meant. You said Cup Series. I was going to say he's never driven in the Cup Series for anybody else than Rick Hendrick.
All right.
started
Well,
in 92.
okay, we will give you that one then. All right.
You want some more backstory to that? Because I know the backstory to that, because any Jeff Gordon fan should know the backstory to that. In 1992, Jack Roush wanted to sign Jeff Gordon, but his stepfather said, nope, fuck that. I want to go with Ray Evernham. And Ray Evernham said, we're going to go to HMS. And Mr. Hendricks said, we're going to take you. And 30 years later, look at where we are now. He's part owner of the company.
Absolutely. Good move.
Randy, you mind if I jump in with one?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a little more recent, so it might be a little bit easier for you. If you look at margin of victory in the Cup Series in terms of races, if you rank them as the closest margin of victory, there are two that are tied for the top. The closest margin of victory. One of them, I think, is pretty obvious. I even knew it. I'm not a huge NASCAR nut. The second one I actually didn't know. But let's say there's no points here, but let's say 1 point for each one that you get. Name the race and who the people were for first and second.
Well, I mean, obviously Talladega. You have the one where they did all the fucking tandem drafting. It was a 3-way. Actually, it was technically 4 wide for the win, but it was 3 wide for the win because the 4th car on the outside was a lap down and the guy pushing him was behind him. And it was either Johnson, Gordon, and Martin, or it was Johnson, Gordon. They were 1-2. And hold on, Jimmy got pushed by Jeff. No.
I think Jimmy was pushed by Junior.
Mark pushed Jeff. Jimmy was pushed by Dale. And I remember that because Junior fans were fucking bullshit because Junior was the fastest car all day and Jimmy should have never got pushed to that win.
Yeah, I remember.
And the other pairing was maybe Kevin Harvick was in front. I know Harvick was a part of that battle at the end, and then fucking 6 car was there and he was a lap down.
So you actually got one of the races right, the Talladega one. That's not the one I expected you to get.
I know the
Jimmy
other
Johnson and Clint Boyer, who finished second, and that was in 2011. The first one, tied for first, I guess. The one that I expected to get was Darlington.
I said both of them. I said Darlington and Talladega.
I didn't hear you say Darlington. Who was it at Darlington?
Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch.
Nailed it.
They're side by side. They're pushing. Oh my God! Have you ever? No, I've never. It was the first time they ever uttered that on national television.
Beautiful.
And for the last 20 years, all we've heard is "Have you ever?" Well, no, Larry. No, I've never. Even though I saw it last week.
Yeah, I knew that one too.
To pull Talladega out there. That's impressive. So I'm blown away.
I actually watched that race a few days ago because absolutely love the tandem style draft pack.
I actually did too. I thought it was a lot of fun.
You know what's funny? I could tell you the exact number of lead changes in that race, and you could look at it, Carl.
It was
87.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Nice cat. How's your pussy doing?
87 lead changes, and the one before that, the other Talladega race that year in 2010 was 84.
Oh, more pussies over here.
Okay, can we stop talking about pussies and give me more questions?
No,
you bunch
I can't.
All right. So, how about this one? Who won the first race after Davey Allison died, and where was it?
It was Earnhardt, and it was.
It was the Die Hard 500, wasn't it?
Justin,
Sorry.
Let's play the game. It was Atlanta.
Sorry.
You're running out of time.
It was Atlanta.
No, it was not.
Oh no, was it Texas?
No,
Texas.
Not even close.
Fuck was it?
Pocono. So we stumped you. Yay! We stumped him on something.
Wait,
Pocono.
It was Pocono. Yes. The race after he died was at Pocono.
Fucking Atlanta was the season finale, and he drove around backwards with the fucking flag. Yeah, you're right.
He also did run around that after the race. Dale did run down the track.
I didn't even know it was Pocono, and I got it right. So there you go. Half the answer's correct. Move on.
No.
You don't get half points.
You didn't have points.
You said I got one wrong. Congratulations.
You said the finale of the race. Yeah. No, that we got you stumped. You're done for the week.
I want to answer more questions. Let's go.
No, we're done for the week.
I will start spewing random fucking
We have
facts.
to save some.
We'll give you some next week. We got stumped. You're done. When Stump the Trump gets stumped, he stops. You're going to stop right now. You
Hold
lost.
on. When has Donald Trump ever been stumped and shut up?
You know what? Just
Stump.
We're 15 minutes past.
I said stump the trunk.
You said stump the Trump.
I said trunk.
Whatever.
I said it really fast.
This has been a lot of fun.
It
Just getting to
same
listen
thing.
to what we get to hear in race chat every week.
All right, hold on. I'm just going to give you.
It's usually louder.
A fact. I'm going to give you a fact because I can't leave on a failure. So
You have to. You're done. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here.
No, I'm going to give you a fact. Just a quick fact. Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know you didn't get that answer correct?
I know I didn't get the answer correct. Can you just let me fucking shut up? In 2009.
Hey, Justin, did you know he got that question wrong?
He doesn't know everything about NASCAR. I'm shocked.
Blake, did you hear me? You got that question wrong.
I did, yeah. I heard it.
Okay, I know I got it wrong. A man has to admit I got the question wrong.
I think tonight his average finish is better than what he has in TNT series though. So props for that.
He still has a truck win and you don't.
That's fair. I can't argue with that.
So in 2009, which Hendrick Motorsports driver was almost fired for being terrible?
2009.
2009.
I mean, Junior had to have been close, but I mean, Casey Mears possibly as well. I honestly don't know.
Wasn't that like Mark's best year, 2009, or am I remembering this wrong?
2009 was his best year. 2009, Mark Martin finished second on the championship to Jimmy Johnson, and the only reason he finished second is because Mark Martin has shit luck, and Jimmy Johnson was unbelievable in that year. But yeah, it was Dale
Mears. Casey Mears. Was it Junior?
It was Dale Earnhardt Jr. And story goes, the only reason Dale Earnhardt Jr. kept his ride was because of Junior Nation. And that, 10 years later almost, 8 years later in 2016, that is the reason he did the Junior Appreciation Tour.
So I got a point. Look at that.
Yay, way to go, Carl.
But yeah, that is the reason he did the Junior Nation Appreciation Tours, because they kept him working.
I'm 100% tonight. That's better than Nick.
That was pretty easy because he was always the worst driver on the lineup when he was there.
Yeah, he sucked for a while there.
I don't know if I would agree with that. I think in 2014 with Steve Letarte, that you could consider him the best driver on the team that year, other than
Jimmy Johnson. At least better than Casey Kane.
He was better than Jeff Gordon that year too.
Yeah, I got to work on my sarcasm. Sorry,
so
fellas.
all right, Blake, it's okay. Next year you'll be the worst driver on Endeavor.
Wow. Hey, by the way, all right. So if you have a question to stump Nick, please send us your questions. You can send it to me or Josh.
Ghostfire Media Broadcasting at gmail.com.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't know if Nick has seen my picture yet.
Let me be a little bit more clear on what you can send them so that we can actually.
I can't see it, so tell me what you're saying.
Discord.
The
general.
So I can answer probably almost any question from the Cup Series from 1970 on. If you want to ask me Xfinity Series questions, you need to go from 2000 on. And from the Truck Series, you can just go fuck yourself because it's a useless series that nobody watches.
I'll tell that to Jimmy Fallon and see how he likes that.
I can't stay. I mean, the series, congratulations. You got a bunch of drivers who couldn't make it the Cup Series driving around trucks that are underfunded, and you're wasting a bunch of talent down there.
Sucks that Carl Edwards did all that back and came out of the trucks. He was such a sucky driver, wasn't he?
No, listen, most of the guys in the trucks.
Going back to what Justin said, it also means that Nick's win is meaningless.
Invalid. Yeah, you want a truck race, so what?
Most of the guys in the Truck Series at the moment are pay drivers who really don't have the talent to be there.
Oh boy! All right.
I could say the same thing about Noah Gragson too, but I think the guy's amazing.
And by the way, I believe the 42 driver actually was a truck driver too, and he got. Now he's in.
Well, Ross. So there, like
Ross
I said,
Chastain.
paid drivers are most of the time useless. I mean, look at Paul Menard. He had a mediocre to terrible NASCAR Cup Series career, but was here for 12 years because he had that money.
Yeah. Well,
Foster's
team doesn't have money, trust me.
He wasn't with a team that was awful either. He was with RCR when Harvick was challenging for a championship.
Paul Menard is the textbook definition of average.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I'd call him average. Maybe he's the most average of the average if he's average.
Yeah, but to be fair, I don't want to get us off. I know we're trying to wrap up, but he was the most average of the top, stock car racing series in the world. So, I mean, that has to count for something.
Yeah, but you could put Jimmy Spencer in the 15 car in 2008. He could have finished where Paul Menard did. The talent was not there in the piece of equipment that could have won a championship and should have won a championship.
All right, so let's just wrap this thing up here. So we can. It's like 10:18. It's past my bedtime. My mom has been yelling at me the whole time. Honey, you got to go to bed.
Ross wants to go to bed wants to get his pudding so we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, before we go, it's not really podcast related, but how many of you guys here are running tomorrow at Charlotte in the endurance race?
What Charlotte endurance race?
You don't know about the Charlotte endurance race that iRacing is putting on that's open to anybody and everybody?
I don't look at any of the official
stuff. Is that the race for MS?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the race for MS. I thought if I was home, I would race with go race for that because my wife does battle with MS. So that was one of the things I did want to run, but I can't.
Hey, Nick, you should post something about it on our Facebook page.
Yeah, it goes to a good cause.
I was going to say, we know a few drivers that are actually doing it. If I remember, Dave Wright from the AOL is running in it.
Yeah,
this is an iRacing thing?
Yes.
I might do it as well.
Yeah, it's an iRacing thing. It's tomorrow. It's for a good cause.
5 o'clock, I think it starts.
There's some pretty awesome people donating a very fair amount of money towards it. Dale Jr. donated $500 towards it, and iRacing actually let him choose a car that they're going to create. So down the road, we're going to get a Buick LeSabre.
Yeah, I saw that.
Along with those classic Cup Series cars. So that's going to be really fun. So there's a lot of good things coming out of it. It goes to a very good cause.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's wrap this thing up. I'd like to thank all our guests tonight. JJ for coming. JJ Odell from Fuel. I'd like to welcome or thank Blake and Justin. You guys did an awesome job tonight. Thank you for coming on. I'd like to thank Carl for jumping in tonight. It's always good to see the man that looks so nice on the camera. We always he can't help it. He can't help it. I got a man crush on Carl. I'm sorry.
Of course you do.
Anyways, so from all our broadcasters here at Ghost Fire Media, even the ones that aren't on here right now, we'd like to thank you for watching all our races here on the network. And we'll see you next week here on the Ghost Fire Media podcast. Don't forget, Sunday night, we got Cup Racing. Josh will be up in the booth for that one, as well as Carl. He'll be up there as well. Those guys will be handling all the action. And then Tuesday night, myself and Nick will be back with the IVRL Butt Kickers series. And then Wednesday night, we will not have any racing.
Fuel in there on Monday?
Yeah, you're forgetting.
Oh, yeah, we got Fuel. I forget Fuel. Fuel, I just always right over. And that would be Larry and Adam. I know. When Monday night it's like a blur to me. I'm sorry. It just goes pew right over my head. And then Wednesday night, no racing with anybody. We just we'll be on the track doing our thing. And then once again Thursday, we'll be back with Adam and probably this week I won't be with Adam. I won't be in the podcast next week. So you guys will be on your own. I will be playing next week. I have a gig at a place called the Ormond Garage, and I will be at the Traders nightclub on Friday night. So if anybody's in the New Smyrna and Ormond Beach area, please come out and see me play. Anyways, so that's going to wrap it up for tonight. From myself, Carl Henderson, and Nick Adams, and Josh Laston, and Blake Gordon, and I guess Justin Anderson. We'll see you next week here on the Ghostfire Media Podcast. So long from the Sunshine State.